Series. We have a little bit of interesting changes in the points format. We're going to go ahead, and before we even get too far into qualifying itself, we want to go ahead and talk about the championship as it stands right now. It's finally gotten updated after the prior few events. So first up, I want to talk about the Manufacturers Championship. At the bottom, Haas is no longer at the bottom. Haas has now been relegated that's weird. Haas is now in a dead tie for... Wow, they've really screwed this up. Mercedes is now at the bottom with 36 points. The Haas team is now in a tie with Red Bull for 8th. So the Haas team is finally starting to turn around and starting to make some improvements after earning points from both of their cars last week. Then 7th is the McLaren team. They have 77 points. 6th is the Alpine team. They have 81 points, with just one off of Alfa Romeo with 82. They are 5th. 4th is Williams with 104 points. 3rd is the Aston Martin team with 132. 2nd is AlphaTauri. 1st, Scuderia Ferrari. They have opened up 208 points, so an over 40-point lead over the AlphaTauri team. So it seems like Ferrari is still the best car to be in. When we look at the Drivers' Championship, though, Ultimate had his driver's points stripped post-race, sadly. And so it's Coley Boy, Venom, and Ultimate still have yet to earn points. Dave Ebart is staying on 1 point. XRRL Edgar is staying on 6. XRRL19 is staying on 13. L Frisbee is staying on 20 points. Mr. Worson staying on 23 points. There is a three-way tie for 10th, as XRRL Fiend, XRRL Yellen, and XRRL Flavor all have 26 points right now. So that could be a very interesting battle to watch as it goes forward. Then 9th is Level 6 Beastian. He has 39 points. 8th is XRRL Zola with 45. Then we get into the drivers that I think still have a chance at the championship. 7th is XRRL Low with 60 points. 6th is XRRL Raptor with 67. 5th is Ryan Hurricane with 81. 4th is XRRL Torpedo with 90. 3rd is Smoothie 25 with 96. 2nd is XRRL Matrix, formerly known as Mr. Anderson. And 1st is Jabus John. The split between Jabus John and Matrix is 1 point. 105 for Matrix, 106 for Jabus John. So it is the closest split that we have seen in the championship fight all season long at the top. Obviously, know that XRRL Matrix kicking himself for skipping the run at the USA event about a month and a half back, and that he's also kicking himself for not being able to finish last week's race at Australia. Now here we are at Yas Marina. This will probably be the last layout. This week it will be the last time we see XRRL running at this old Yas Marina layout with the really poor chicanes in a lot of areas and a lot tighter corners than needs to be. I would not be expecting a lot of overtakes unless drivers who are supposed to be very fast have a lot of incidents and crashes in qualifying. I got to talk with several different people before the race got underway and got word from what happened to Dev. I didn't get to watch Dev today, but for everything I'm hearing is that the curbs, per usual, are being excessively aggressive, as XRRL19 has just had a spin coming onto the first of the two back straightaways. But word is that there is going to be issues with the curbs being excessively aggressive and wanting to throw your car out and spin it sideways. So that could end up being more than a little bit of a problem. As you see, XRRL Ozzy, who's the first driver to get on track, he's going through the more tighter technical sections here in Sector 3 and now goes to drive beneath the hotel section. Also coming to the party with me is XRRL Veloce. Veloce, go ahead, include your audio. It's a pleasure to see you again. Yas Marina, full-length race on the old crap layout. What do you have to say when it comes to expectations for today's event?
I have a feeling that if there isn't a train, there won't be much battling, because through the last sector it's impossible to keep within 5/10 just because of how off-camber each corner is. Sure, the long back straight is definitely probably the best overtaking opportunity on the track, but yeah, it's hard to keep close to the first and last sectors, so I think it'll be I feel like they'll make it interesting somehow.
Indeed, all it would take, even if the field got excessively spread out, all it would take would be one driver having an off that forces a full course yellow, and the entire ordering of the race can be upended.
Yeah, one safety car, the whole race changes, doesn't it? So we also have Kinsey in the Mercedes this time.
Yeah.
I think he did join
Kinsey's
last week with Hope to race, but he couldn't, so we'll see how he does.
Yeah, for Kinsey, it's his first time back in XRRL since the third to last race at Brazil last XRRL season, so it's been a long time away. But I gotta talk to him. He has a little bit of confidence in today's event, and Collie Boy has had an issue. So our first DNF in qualifying is going to be Collie Boy, apparently.
Yeah, you say our first, it's not going to be our last either, I feel, because turn is the longish right-hander. Yeah, it's very easy to spin there. And, well, yeah, he has just gone into the wall. I don't know how people spin inwards, though. That's what confuses me.
Typically ends up happening when you have too much turn-in on the car on acceleration. I see that happens.
As does round.
All right, and coming... Ooh, dear. Yeah, the entire front wing ripped off Vaza's car. All right, coming into the party now is Collie Boy Collie. Early DNF here in first round qualifying, dead last starting position. What happened out there?
I've started playing with no TC, so I got on the power a bit too quick. And just, I binned it there in XNA the other night as well, I'm sure. So it's just that one section, that start of that third turn, every time I come out it, I just keep seeing on the power too early and bin it. It's bad.
Asda's just... Sorry. I was riding on board with Asda as he came into the pit lane and just took out the 80-metre board. Or the 80 speed limit board coming into the pit, so I'm sure drivers won't like that.
I do have to ask real quickly, Collie Boy, though, do you think you'll be able to last to the end of this race, considering that you're going to be running with no TCS?
I'm not sure. I might actually put the TC back on it with Jim just so that it's there.
Alright.
But I'll see what happens.
Different question, but kind of in the same ballpark. Assuming you put TCS back on, do you think you can get back into the points-paying position from what will likely be a last-place starting spot?
I'm thinking so, yeah. I think probably half the grid is probably going to bin it anyway. Just pretty similar to EFR last night. So I think it's just a case of being careful when we probably pick up points.
Alright. Well, I do want to say I appreciate your honesty. Thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us.
No problem. We'll catch you guys later.
Alright.
Yeah, catch you later. Well, hopefully we don't until the end of the race.
I'll probably speak to you in the
that
first
would be really nice.
We'll catch you later.
Catch you later.
Alright. Well, four drivers have set their lap times. Oh, and he did it after setting a lap as well. So add insult to injury there for Mr. Worsen.
He's not going to be very happy with that, certainly. He spun literally the exact same place where Collie Boy spun, so I wonder if it was the same thing, using too much inside curb at turn 3. He had a time of 1:38.276, so as that stands right now, we might only see 14 drivers advance. And there's been another driver who just had a spin in that same place. Was that XRRL19? I believe it was. Yes, 19 has had a spin in the exact same place on the track, but for him, the front wing, while ripped off the car, it seems to be the worst of the damage. All the tires are still on it. I have just realised that XRL Zola and XRL Ultimate, along with Matrix, are all out on the medium compound tyre. So, well, they won't be looking to use them in Q3 then, or Q2, sorry.
With the rate that we've been seeing drivers crash out, though, it might not be a bad idea because you might just be able to make it to the next round by setting a lap in general. The only driver I don't see that holding true for right now is XRL Ultimate because his time of 140.6 is slower than Worsen's 38.2, and if enough drivers set times, he would get squeezed out. But right now, that might not be a bad option.
I have a feeling there might be a bit of time in Ultimate's lap. But they're probably losing a lot of time down the long straights. So yeah, I'm expecting...
I've seen a lot of pulling over and weaving and swerving on the first of the two back straightaways as drivers are trying desperately to get a big enough gap between themselves so they have clean air on the front wing when they go for a lap.
No one wants that, yeah. So... I mean, I'm watching Zola now come to the line, 138.283, puts him just ahead of his teammate, however, he is on the mediums, so be interesting to see what he can do once he improves.
Right, only 7 drivers have set lap times, and we're already about halfway through the session. Ultimate has swapped on to a set of soft tires in the pit lane, so...
Makes sense for the Haas driver, who's currently 2.3 seconds off the pace, off the back of the McLaren of Raptor. Sorry, that was a long-winded sentence. But yeah, he'll be definitely looking to get into Q2 at least today, because last time, I believe, was the first double points finish for Haas, so looking to replicate that perhaps.
Oh, Beastian's had a spin coming out of the second to last corner, and he was in the middle of a flying lap when that happened.
Ooh, not good.
The lap is still valid, but he's going to abort it so that way he can put a new set of tires on. Kinsey!
He's in the
Did
pit
he just
lane.
crash out on track?
Did he?
No, he's retired. No, apparently he's retired in the pit, so he feels very confident with a 137.5 for a lap time.
I feel like that would be enough, however, as just on a good lap run. Oh, we did go a bit wide off that last corner there. 138.386 for the supermarket man.
Ozza, part of the Walmart family, basically Walmart's equivalent out there in Britbon land. Real quickly though, I try to do this every single race. Let's go ahead and knock it out now before we get too far into it. We're gonna go silent in the booth and ride on board for a full lap on board with Smoothie 25 and the AlphaTauri here around Yas Marina. Smoothie goes through with a time 137.978. But I don't imagine he's going to be very happy with that. He ran into both of the McLarens in the last sector of that lap. Right now, Zola is giving his teammate Raptor a bit of a tow, so some McLaren team shenanigans going on by the looks of it.
Yeah, I do know Zola does like to give his teammate a tow. He's very much a team player as XRRL, and Raptor's moving right into this tow as well. And I know from experience a tow's worth at least half a tenth down this back straight, but possibly even a tenth. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Big thing is, Zola will have to get out of the way of Raptor so he doesn't end up compromising his teammate's lap, and there he is, he's out of the way in the braking zone.
A good, nice little tow. I'm sure Raptor won't be disappointed with that little tow. Does now run into the Williams, is that, I think? Or is that the Alpine? Yeah, it's the Williams in 19.
That is a Williams.
Yeah, I've started calling him 19 now, so it's going well.
Alright, Raptor now on the final sector of this lap. I think for Zola, realistically, he realizes that his championship hopes are over. He's now more than 60 points, 65 points actually, out of the championship points lead. Torpedo, 136.891, so that's our new fastest lap. So I think he's realized that fighting for a championship is no longer valid for him. I think he's going to do whatever he can to try and keep Raptor in the fight and try to get McLaren to kind of bounce back in the Manufacturers Championship. Because they've not done very well in the Manufacturers Championship either. And Raptor up by over half a second. He moves up to 7th with 137.650. And that was with a nice tow going down just one of the two long straights here.
Yeah, I mean, Zola's quite a big team player anyway, so I feel like he would have done it either way.
right, as it stands right now, Mr. Worsen is the bubble that you have to be ahead of in order to advance. The drivers who are not fast enough at the moment is Zola, Flavor, Ozda, and Ultimate. They all will have to massively improve their times or they risk getting squeezed out. Beastian on track right now. He's going to try and be the first one to start squeezing them out as he comes out of the final corner, but his lap is not very competent. He will squeeze Ultimate out, but it's only with the 139.768. And XRRL19 is coming to the line shortly here.
Ultimate,
Oh,
37.7. That's a very good time for him.
So now Beastian's on the outside again, looking in, and 19 is in the middle of a flyer, as is Ryan Hurricane. Thing is, Hurricane, he invalidated and actually backed off for 2 full seconds worth, so he's going to try go again, nearly a full thing of ERS in the tank.
Let's see what the Williams duo can do with 19 and Hurricane.
Hurricane electing to try and do this on the medium tire compounds.
I mean, it's certainly got all the drivers I think could be quick enough that are in the top, well, at the moment probably in the top 8, top 9. Who just went quicker there? I'm trying to look at it.
Torpedo retires in the pit lane. He feels no need to continue pushing.
Smoothie improved to a 137.2, that's what it was.
And he's not the only one. Raptor also has improved up to a 137.313. So now Jay Bastian has been pushed down to 5th, but it's his teammate Torpedo who has the fastest time at the moment.
Yeah, Ferrari's once again looking very strong. They did as they did in Brazil, continuing from Brazil, and they've had a good string of races recently, have Ferrari, since the swap has been made between Torpedo and I don't remember what team he was before.
And Low.
So yeah, Torpedo and Low.
I will admit that the last week's race at Australia was not great for them, but Australia really wasn't good for anyone. Only one full-time driver in XRRL finished in the top 5 in points that day, so that was kind of a weird oddity. All right, Ryan's crossed the line, but those medium tires are not helping him. 139.194 is the fastest he's able to do. The counterpoint to that, though, is if he would be willing to back off enough and let the McLaren and Aston Martin by, he might be able to pick up his teammate 19 and give at least 19 a tow down the straights. But it seems like the mediums are not fast enough to advance into the next round of qualifying. Sweet Christ, there are yellow flags all over the track.
Yeah, all in Sector 3. Looks like a slow McLaren. Is that over? Nope, it's Raptor.
There's a slow Red Bull also, that's Beastie, and he had burned through all of his fuel on his prior lap, and sadly that lap's not enough to get him in. He's at 138.685, and with less than a handful of minutes to go, I see no way that he's going to advance. Right now, I think the question is, yes, does 19 have the pace to squeeze Flavor out of the top 14?
I mean, Hurricane is about half a second up, but he's going to need a bit more than half a second to knock out, to get into Q. He's going to need about 8/10 of a second, so will he be able to do it coming around the final corner? What's it going to be, a 1 minute, hopefully 38.4, so not quite enough. Just behind Watto on the medium tire.
Gabo has retired in pit lane, so he feels confident. Right now, it seems like if you're in a 137, you're safe, but if you're in the 138, you're either in the drop zone or about to get kicked out. And Beastian's been disqualified because he ran out of fuel on the middle of the racetrack. So he's been disqualified from the session. Bad day goes rougher for the Red Bull team. Time is up in the session. What can 19 do against XRL Flavor?
This is it. This is the final run of Q1. Will Flavor make it through? Will Flavor be out? Will 19 be in? Well, only one of them can advance, so we shall see.
And only 14 drivers, doesn't matter which of these two make it, only 14 drivers will advance into the next round. Mr. Worsen's crash kind of throws a bit of a monkey wrench into the plans.
I've just realised Flavor is actually finished in terms of qualifying.
Yeah, Flavor went out to try and go for another lap, but he did not make it to start-finish line in time to get it going. So right now, the only question is 19 fast enough to knock that Red Bull off?
Ooh,
He's low on fuel. 19's very low on fuel. I don't know if he's going to make it or not.
Yeah, he will. He already would have just got out with 2.7 laps of fuel, which is the minimum you can run around here.
All right, he needs to be a time of 1:38.360 in order to advance. Coming out of the final corner, 35, 36, 37, 38. He's in, and Flavor is out, and 19 makes it in with a 1:38.079. So at least one Williams makes it in, and neither of the Red Bulls will.
Not the best of qualifying for the Red Bull team. Although I will say that Aston Martin have had a good qualifying. Well, Q1, sorry.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. Both Aston Martin drivers in the top 7, Matrix, the full-time Mazda, the part-time/reserve, and then both Ferraris and both McLarens both make it into qualifying as well, Q2 as well, as do both of the AlphaTauris. As we see Mazda pulling into his pit box, and I imagine once he slots in, the session will come to an end here. All right, well, look, it started off being extremely chaotic early on, and it cooled down as the session went on, but still, the chaos from earlier had some long-lasting effects on the race as a whole, on the Q1 as a whole.
Yeah, what I will find interesting in the race is that fresh tyres are rapid around here compared to just 1 lap, 2 lap old. You're probably still gaining about 3/10 a lap on them. So...
Oh, I did not notice this. Matrix did advance on a set of medium tires. So he has a free set of softs that he can abuse to the ends of the earth pretty much going into these next 2 qualifying sessions.
Yeah, you're going to want as many sets of softs as you can for the race. So I think in his world, his ideal world, he'll get through to Q2 on just 1 set of softs. And then maybe do a first run on Q3 on his set of mediums. And only use 1 set, so still have 2 free sets for the race because it's a long 55 laps around here. Probably not the driver's most enjoyable 55 laps. It's probably not their favourite circuit because of just how off camber the whole circuit is in general.
Circuit basically built on a man-made set of islands, and it's basically a temple to mankind's scientific progress and mankind's hubris, if I may be honest. And the racetrack, for a long time, has very, very negatively suffered because of how poor the layout is, considering where it's been built. There have been improvements, though. It's got a reprofiling and redesign this year that, in my opinion, significantly improved the racing. And no, I'm not saying that just because the championship was decided in the last lap in the F1 season. Like, watching some of the lower tier races, like regional Formula 4 and stuff, and GT running here on the new layout. I am. If they did, I wasn't aware, but I've been keeping note on like regional Formula 4 and GT stuff, and without a doubt, the reprofiling of the corners at the start and the end of the long straights, and the reprofiling and smoothing of some of the corners in Sector 3 have significantly improved this racetrack for the better. So I look forward to the next game when this track gets updated.
Yeah, I also think that with the new cars on the new layout, racing will actually be doable around the circuit, which as it stands, because the dirty air is almost impossible to follow. Yeah, it's very hard to get a move done around here.
While Formula 1 cars are just becoming significantly heavier, actually going into this year, this will be the first year in the better part of 70 years that Formula 1 cars will be at the exact same weight as an Indy car. So an interesting change in pace. Long gone, sadly, are the days of nimble and twitchy F1 cars. It's not a thing anymore.
Well, they're certainly
we've
nimble.
Now, I don't really think they're nimble. They're fast, but they're not nimble. They do not navigate many tight corners very well. If they were nimble, they would at least look somewhat at home at, Monaco. But, yeah, it's just kind of the thing. A big element with the change in racing, and this is not a Formula 1 only thing. This kind of change applies to every single discipline of racing. I can still hear you. Yeah, I still hear you. Ooh, Kinsey on the curbs there. Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. Well, as we watch Kinsey in the middle of his first flying lap, he's going to try and be the first driver to set a lap in the session. Kind of the trend across all of racing is improve on safety, improve on safety, improve on safety. And it's a very valiant effort. I'm not going to go out here and saying, yes, blood on the concrete makes for better racing. I'm not going to say that. But there is a downside to it. For every action, there usually ends up being some sort of somewhat negative reaction. For most racing and Formula 1 leading the charge, the cars have gotten heavier and heavier. There's only so much safety and only so much modification. Ooh, big clabber over the curbs for Kinsey. But there's only so much safety and only so much modification you can add to the racetracks themselves. A lot of the impetus to improve driver safety falls on the cars themselves, and it all gets heavier. Stronger side pods for stronger structural integrity. It's heavier. You need to make the cars bigger so that way the driver's legs aren't over the front axle. Oh, that's more room. The car becomes heavier. You want to go ahead and you want to put in, then you get to like the environmental aspect. You want to go ahead and put in hybrids to try and work out some newfangled technology beyond blowing up old, dried out conifer trees from the pre-Cambrian era. And that adds a lot more weight as well. So yeah, it's a nasty trend. I think that days, sadly, of quick, nimble racing cars are pretty much gone. And I will forever mourn it. I like the Halo, but I'm not going to say it saved many. It's not like we were killing somebody. Yeah, I will agree that it saved Grosjean's life, and there's been... Alright, my personal jury is out, so this is not Formula 1, obviously, but way back in 2006, for the Champ Car Series, they were running at Lake Burkefront Airport, and Sebastian Bourdais ended up ramping off of someone else's car, and he landed on top of Paul Tracy's head in that exact same manner, and although Tracy was taken out of the race, he continued to go on and race and win afterwards without issue, so I'm not so sure. Yeah, it was open wheel. Camp Car is basically one half of the IndyCar split in that era, so I'm not saying, I don't want to say that the Halo is a bad option. I'm one of the few people who I actually like the way the Halo looks. And I'm not going to go out there and say, oh god, the Halo is a horrible thing, it's ruined racing. No, although I do think it's not really going to fix some of the problems that F1 has with intrusion, but it helps to some extent. But I think that there are some people who say like, oh my god, every single accident ever without the Halo would have been death. It's like, no, that's not how it is. Yeah. Well, 11 of our drivers have now set lap times, although Zola's at 1:44, not very competitive. I think he may have sacrificed his to try and help Raptor out. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I'm really downing the Earl Grey tea hard right now. But yeah, but no, that is one thing I will admit. The Halo and the various versions of it across other forms of racing. Most of it's Halo, but in America, they're going more with windscreen attached to a Halo, pretty much. All those have just kind of been thrown on top of cars that were not built with that kind of high excess weight in mind. Going into the new set of regs for Formula 1, though, it will be built with the Halo in mind, so it will probably be a little bit better integrated and might not have as much of a deviant effect on the weight of the cars. And that is something that I am looking forward to see how that will improve or not. So... I'll agree. One other thing I'm really interested to see is just the way the cars are going to look different when it comes to the side pods and the under tray. That's, at least in my opinion, that's been one of the things I really have not cared much for when it comes to the design of Formula 1 cars during the turbo hybrid era. It's kind of been a thing before, but it's really shown. Ooh, wow! Ultimate just knocks over one of the braking boards going into the second to last corner. That may have a negative effect for some people here. But the Haas on the soft tires will go across with a 137.707. It's good enough for 7th. But you have this giant-ass floor that doesn't really have, like, any real defining properties on its own. It just feels like it's there taking up extra space. And there have been some changes over the last few years to pull it back, mainly because with the whole pandemic, the rule changes all got pushed off a year, so that way teams wouldn't be, you know, totally bankrupt to get to it. So they have been pushed back a little bit, but I'd like to see those floorboards that kind of stick out right in front of the rear tires totally removed, and the new set of regs seem to do a good job in massively reducing and removing that. Or if they keep it, you know, they're at least there with more of a purpose and just to aggravatingly stick out and just kind of do a really poor emulation of underbody downforce. I'm sorry, I really rambled there for way too long. Venturi tunnels. Yeah, so, it was 78, Mario Andretti won his Formula 1 championship. Yes, obviously he had some great talent because he won with numerous F1 teams before and after that. And he was doing it while still also running a part-time IndyCar schedule as well. Again, I anytime I can, you know, praise Mario Andretti, I will. Greatest driver, I think, of that era. But Mario Andretti's F1 championship in 78 came off the back of the Lotus having all that great underbody downforce. No other team really had figured it out. Everyone was just trying to go for great straight line speed. So yes, every single car out there was out dragging the Lotus down the straights from 0 to 60, 0 to 100, 0 to 180, no problem. But it didn't matter because the underbody downforce meant that the Lotus would carry so much more speed going through the corners. So, oh sure, here comes everyone else rushing to catch them down the straights, but unless you were at Monza or Old Hockenheim, it really didn't matter. They were way faster than you coming out of the corners. And then Lotus went ahead and made the silly decision to go full underbody downforce, take all of the downforce off of the front and rear wing going into the 1979 season with the infamous Lotus 80. And that just goes to show you need to have a balance. I can't remember who it is. He had an interview with Jada's Cars. One of the guys who helped develop the MP44. And he said, look, a big element, and there's been an incident with an Alpine, that is XRRL Low, who was pulled over in Sector 3, and I'm not sure what's gone on there. I think he's in the middle of an outlap. I guess he wanted to try and get a draft off of his teammate Jigsaw going down the straight, so more team shenanigans going on. But as I was saying, He made it very clear way back when that cars that normally go all in on one philosophical design point usually end up failing. And normally a good race car is designed off of a great deal of compromises between a good engine, a good mechanical grip, good aerodynamics, good weight, all that. And you just need to have a good balance between it all. You seem to have lost Veloce somehow. But yeah, and that really bit Lewis in the rear. I'm going to try and get Veloce back in here real quickly. Low on the medium tires, he's up by a bit more than 1/10 of a second right now, but as it stands, that will not be enough to get Low into the next round of qualifying. As it stands for the moment, as we swatch from tire to best, most of the drivers have set their times on mediums, but drivers from about 8th on down are going back out now on some variant of soft tires. Low is the exception, and I hate to say it, the exception is going to prove the rule here. It's not looking like it will work out for Low unless he pulls a bunch of time out here in Sector 3. Because even if he improves significantly here, almost everyone else is going to improve as well. Low jumps up to an 8th with a 137.587, but Jabez John is about to start a lap, and he's going from medium to soft tires, so that's going to be a massive increase in grip that he's going to have. Gabo, he's in the middle of an outlap right now. Ultimate's in the middle of a flyer, and he's already up by almost 2/10 alone. The thing is, for Ultimate, he did his last lap on soft, so I don't know if he's going to be able to advance. Ozda in the middle of an outlap as well. Kinsey is about to finish his outlap and begin his flyer, and 19 is trying to get clear racetrack so he can go as well. He's going to let Smoothie sneak by there. Smoothie is actually aborting his lap, so he feels confident with his 137.579 apparently. So we look at Jabez John. He'll be the first of all these drivers to try and get a new lap in on soft tires. A lot of these guys are only going to have one real chance to do it. Smoothie retires in the pit lane. Edgar and Matrix both in the pit, so we can reasonably assume that they're not going to get a chance to go out there. Ozza has crossed the line, so he is in the middle of a lap now. So we have 7 drivers basically in the middle of laps. Well, 6 drivers. Low is on a cooldown lap, so he's not going to go faster again. But we have 6 drivers all trying to fight for what's basically maybe 3 or 4 spots in the end. And the clock is over now. Here comes Jabez John. The transition from medium to soft worked very well for him. 137.172. So outstanding job on his part. Now the focus goes to Gabo. Now Gabo had set his prior lap on soft, but he's still faster this lap than he was before. Will this be enough to squeeze Low out? Gabo on the bubble right now. It looks like he's going to improve across the line, but will it be enough? Low already in pit lane, so he's not going to get another chance at it. Here comes Gabo across the line. 137.050, that's very good job. Now Kinsey goes to the top, 136.682. Here comes XRRL 19 to the line. So Low is on the outside looking in. Smoothie is on the bubble. 19 is going to hold on to 10th. Ultimate and Ozda both in the middle of laps right now. Ozda coming to the line, trying to squeeze 19 out to advance. He's in, 137.212. So 19 is now out, and here comes Ultimate. He'll be the last driver to set a lap in Q2 here. When he crosses the line, the session won't be over. Will Ultimate be able to advance into the next round of qualifying? No, he won't! He crashes! Coming out of the final corner, he crashes! And that's it for Ultimate. Frustration and disappointment for the Haas driver. A lap that just could not happen for him. And now my entire Xbox is locking up and not working. Or I don't know if it's that or if it's what. Yeah, they're just going to skip me right through the results for Q2. Go figure. But Ultimate will not advance to the next round of qualifying, sadly. Ozda, are you able to hear me still? Okay. So 10 drivers in the final round of qualifying here. Who's going to be the first one to come on track? That's the first question. We're seeing a Ferrari movement, and that is Torpedo. Oh dear. I've lost all sound from the game now. Alright, cool. So, I'm gonna back out and then jump back in to try and fix this new sound glitch that's just happened. So, yeah, now the game is just giving me crap here in the broadcasting booth, and Veloce still has not been able to jump back into the lobby either. We're going to try and make this as quick as possible, gentlemen and ladies. There we are, sounds back. Everyone, with the exception of Ozda and Jigsaw, out on the racetrack right now. And Edgar's going to come to the line. Should be the first driver to try and set a lap time in this session here. Now we see Zola across the line a little bit farther back. There's been an incident with one of the Ferraris. Torpedo pulls over. And I have to wonder if Torpedo's going to try and give his teammate Jabez John a draft down the straights in order to help. And that might be what's going on there. Kinsey apparently has a set of medium tires equipped here for Q3, and I don't know what the strategy is with that. And he's not the only one. Gabo has done the same thing, the set of medium tires. Oh, and Torpedo did he have an accident? It looks like Torpedo had an incident or something there in Sector 3. He's going now, but he will not be able to give his teammate a tow. As I said, though, Edgar, first driver across the line, so he's in the middle of his flying lap right now with Zola a little bit behind him. Alright, last two corners. A little bit of a twitch from the rear of that AlphaTauri, but nothing that Edgar can't handle. Oh, he's knocked over one of the little poles, though, but he will set time 136.707, Zola 138.127, and now here comes Kinsey. Again, I have no idea what the strategy is to try and go out on a set of medium tires, but it's not a bad time, 137.684. Now here comes Raptor across the line with a 137.332. He'll be joined now by Matrix, who will cross the line with a 137.034. Then it will be Gabo. Again, medium tires. I don't know what these two are thinking with mediums, but Gabo will cross the line 137.627. Now it goes to the Ferraris, Jabaston and Torpedo. I will say that Gabo and Kinsey will have this advantage. They could have chosen to fill up the car with as much fuel as they want, and those mediums aren't going to fall off in pace at any time, so they will inevitably get more and more time in their favor. John, 137.167, Torpedo, 137.790, so the mediums are not the worst, but they're not going to put you in contention for the pole position, it would appear. Ozda and Jigsaw have not yet made an attempt to come out of pit lane. So the question now is, everyone else who's on track, are they going to go for another lap or not? Edgar in the middle of a lap, but I think he's going to come into the pit the way that light's flashing. And he's invalidated. No, Kinsey's going to come in, so a lap on the medium tires, a very bizarre choice to say the least. The McLaren team, though, they're both going to go for another lap. It looks like Zolo's going to try and give his teammate Raptor a draft down the straights. This worked well for Raptor in one of the earlier sessions. Raptor already has a good time, 137.332. The question is Raptor so close to Zola that it's going to compromise his time in the corners? Extremely close to the McLaren. We can start making time back up here now. So Zola gives Raptor a big draft down the first of the two straights. And Raptor will use it to shoot out like a cannon. So now the question is, did he gain significant amounts of time? We'll see here at the end of this sector. No, Raptor is actually down on time despite the draft help. So he lost more time mid-corner following his teammate than he gained going down the straight. Now he'll probably fight some of that back on the rest of this lap here because the car is lighter than it was before, but it's not going to be enough to really put him in contention for the pole, I think. I think it would, for the McLaren, the best option would be for both of them to come into the pits right now. Now, Raptor's going for another... Raptor, either he's going for another lap or he thinks he's able to claw back enough time. He improves, but it's still only fourth fastest. And he's now the only driver on track with very, very low fuel at that. So this may have inadvertently put the McLaren team in a bad squeeze, as the plan to get Zola to drag Raptor down the straight, not good enough to get a great run, a significantly better run in qualifying. So apparently for Veloce, he had a problem with internet connectivity. His Wi-Fi is apparently shut off on him, so he is not able to join us right now. He says he'll try to come back if he can, but for those of you looking forward to his voice, I'm sorry, it may be a long time, and there's no guarantee that he's going to show back up. So yeah, now the McLaren seems to be basically out of fuel. He needs to be careful not to get penalized for stopping on an unsafe place on the track, which is what happened to Level 6 BC in the first round of qualifying. But while this has happened, nearly everyone else has gone out on track, including, finally, Ozda and Jigsaw, both of them finally on circuit. But a big amount of drag from Jigsaw, really dragging something nasty down the straights. Is Raptor out of fuel for good? Now, he still has a little bit, so it looks like he will be able to make it. Azza has now crossed the line and will go for another lap. Gabo coming out of pit lane just in front of the Aston Martin, but not going to give him any trouble by the looks of it. Diving over the curbs for Azda. He waited a while to get a lap in, but the advantage, though, is that there's absolutely no one else on track with him. There are cars behind him, but they're not going to affect his run. So for Azza, this has worked out well. For Jigsaw, similarly well, but not quite, because he's right now it's clear ahead of him, but I see the Mercedes of Kinsey Retro coming back out of pit lane now, and there's a risk that Kinsey might be right in front of Jigsaw. Yeah, Kinsey's going to be right in front of Jigsaw in the middle of a lap, so that's not going to work out well for the Alpine. So Azza looks like he's timed this better than Jigsaw. The other benefit for Azza, and potentially more for Matrix, is that he is in a position that if this is a good enough lap, he can blow up a bit here in Sector 1 to try to pick up Matrix and give him a draft down the straights. Azza, 137.471. Gabo finally crossing the line. Matrix to the top, 136.457. So it was very close for him. It looked like he was going to get squeezed out of the final round qualifying by Ultimate, but because Ultimate crashed at the very end of Q2, Matrix advances, and now he's at the top of the timesheets. As Jigsaw will be the next driver to cross the line to get a lap in. Now, he has gotten by Kinsey somewhere on the lap, but the question is, did he lose very much time doing so? Across the line for Jigsaw, 136.821. So a clean track has worked well enough for him. It's good enough for third at the moment. Ferrari of Jay Bastion crosses the line, 136.659. So our top two in the championship are now 1 and 2 on the timesheets at the moment. Edgar is in the middle of an outlap and will be coming in the line shortly. I don't know why, but the game has just said that Edgar, it's probably because my time is bad. So this is going to be the last lap for a lot of drivers. Yeah, because I left and jumped back in, it probably screwed up the timing for me. So this might actually be the actual final lap for most of these drivers here. Azza was a bit down on time coming out of Sector 2. He might be able to claw a little bit of that back here in Sector 3 just because he's lighter on fuel. He will jump up to 7th, 137.341. Gaba retires in the pits. Kinsey going to try and throw a monkey wrench into this all as we see the Alpine of Jigsaw ahead of him. Kinsey says first lap on medium tires. I do not know what that plan was. I don't know why you would be trying to set laps on mediums in the final round of qualifying unless he simply didn't have any softs left for this. That's obviously not too much the case because he's on softs now. But considering he's not been in XRRL for numerous months, being able to jump back in and get a top 9 starting position might even be better than that. Yeah, top 4 starting position after being gone so long. That's good news for Kinsey. John steals the pole position back from Matrix at the last moment with a 136.242. So a great job on his part. And that's the end of qualifying. Jabez John leads the field with Matrix second. All right, coming to the party is Kinsey Retro. Kinsey, I'm going to make this very quick. Just one question now. I'll let you focus on the race itself.
Yeah.
You make it into the final round of qualifying, and you elect to put on medium tires for your first lap. What in the world was the idea behind that strategy?
Simply put, it guarantees I keep a fresh set of softs for the race.
All right, that's a fair enough look at, but at that same point, I have to ask, why would you not just wait until like the midpoint of the qualifying session when the track was kind of clear to go out instead.
I wanted to put a bit more rubber down to maximize my chances of getting pole position.
Fair enough. Well, it's not pole position, but 4th place starting spot after many, many months out of XRRL is pretty good. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you again at the end of the race and not midway through it.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'll say this. Haven't missed a beat.
All right, well, that's the word from Kinsey Retro. Very interesting qualifying session. He's not the only one to have taken that strategy. Gabo took that same strategy. The difference is Gabo was not able to get a faster lap in on the softs afterwards, so he's relegated to a 9th place starting spot. It was a risky run, to say the least, but it seemed to have worked out well for him. 4th place starting spot on the grid for Kinsey. He said, when I talked to him before this race started, he said that he was anticipating a top 8 finish today, assuming he can make it to the end of the race, but he seems relatively confident that he can make it work, so this could be very interesting, to say the least. So we'll be getting underway here in about 4 minutes. It looks like we're going to have a daytime start to the race. So very interesting choice. Normally the runs here at Yas are at night, so daytime going to be very interesting. Once again, I do want to remark on the top of the championship battle, 1 point separates the top two, but third is someone we've not spent a lot of time talking about this season when it comes to championship contention, and that's Smoothie25. He's staying third with 96 points, so he's only 10 points out from Jay Baslam, leading, and only 9 points out from Matrix in second. Fourth is Torpedo. He has 90 points, so he is sitting 16 points out of the championship lead right now. Fifth is Ryan Hurricane, and once you get out of the top four, the gaps to the lead start getting a lot bigger, and it starts getting a little bit more risky. Ryan Hurricane has 81 points, so right now he's sitting 25 points out from Jay Baslan. Raptor is 67 points right now to his name, so he's 39 points out of the championship lead, and Low is 7th with 60 points. I think for not so much Ryan Hurricane, although he obviously needs to start turning around, but for Raptor and Low, they have left way too many points on the table, and they need to start turning around. Low did a great job, though. He was the highest of all your championship contenders to finish. Yes, last week he came home 5th, while none of the other championship contenders were even close to him. But he really needs to start making up more ground than that now. He has, for a long time, expressed discontent with the Alpine and wants to go back to the Ferrari, but that's not going to happen, apparently. All right, so this is what it looks like. Jay was going to be starting on softs, but Matrix and Torpedo will be starting on mediums. Jigsaw will be starting on mediums. Then outside the top 10, 19 will be starting on mediums. Ultimate will be starting on mediums. Flavor will be starting on mediums as well. So this could end up being a very interesting grid. It's not really clustered together in ways that we're typically used to seeing it happen. We should be getting underway here in about a minute's time, though. All right, preparing to get underway here. Four lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out, away we go here. And right off the bat, Flavor has a horrible start at the back of the grid. Looks like that car basically didn't even get going. But at the front, Matrix will take the lead from Davis Don. Don's looking to fight back on the outside. Is there room? There's not going to be enough room there. Torpedo's had a bad start though. He's going to drop to 5th. Ozda is capitalizing. There's situations farther back in the grid. That's Mr. Worsen and Lowe have both had incidents. Flavor's gonna get by them both. Yellow flags, but only in that sector, and Raptor has fallen out of the points paying positions as well. Ozza now gets by Torpedo. They're drag racing down the straight. Here comes Gabo, here comes Jigsaw, as Jigsaw's overtaking Zola as well. Torpedo right there behind Ozda down the straight. He looks, he's gonna go to the inside under braking. Edgar squeezes by Kinsey for 3rd there. Ozda, Torpedo fighting neck and neck, and it looks like the Ferrari of Torpedo just can't keep up. The medium tires do not have the pace necessary, as Kinsey is there in 4th right now, trying to keep up with Edgar. A relatively clean start to the race, although for Lowe and Mr. Worsen, not as clean as they'd want it to be, obviously. Ooh, the McLaren clambering over the curbs, so Zola now dropping many positions. He's now falling out of the top 10 as well. Look at this cluster of cars. If one person makes a mistake here, we'll have massive negative knock effects for everyone. Collie missed braking, and Ryan Hurricane is just like, thank you, I'll take that position very much. Ultimate move by Zola there for 10th, so now one of the Haas's back in the points paying positions already. Ooh, big hiccup there for Collie, and now Waddington, the other Haas, has to come into the pits to repair damage. This looks like a mess in the middle to back of the field right now. Smoothie is the AlphaTauri and a McLaren bread sandwich, and Ozza has had an incident. He has lost 2 positions to Gabo and 19, going under braking there. He has lost all his positions. We couldn't see it from that camera angle, but he has spun off the circuit altogether. And after qualifying near the front, he will drop all the way down to 17th. An absolutely horrible run. Mr. Worsen, though, got lucky. He actually did not have any damage in his incident. And for the lead, Davis John fine with Matrix. The soft tires for now will be faster contact, yes, a bit. And it hurts Matrix more than it hurts John, so John takes the lead for the moment. The big thing, though, is that those soft tires will fall off sooner rather than later. Farther back, 19 is there behind Gabo. Looks to the inside and wants to get side by side with him going into the braking zone. He will make the overtake stick. Most of the battles on track, though, have already pretty much deteriorated and fallen apart at this point. Torpedo is there in 5th. He is the 2nd highest of everyone on the medium tires. And he's going to try and look for a way to get back up to 3rd at least. Davis Gnon, fastest lap thus far, 142.119. And DRS has been turned on, so we're going to start seeing them popping open that rear wing going down the straights. All things considered, a nice, relatively clean start to the race. Haza now coming into the pits to repair the damage he had from his spin on the prior lap. Ultimate right there is in a perfect position to fight with Jigsaw. Jigsaw's just out of DRS range, so this should be an open and shut case for the Haas. If not for a fact that all the Haas drivers, all 3 of them who have tasted it, have been very open about the fact that the Haas has been very bad in a straight line, and that even with DRS, they struggle to keep up with the cars ahead. Now Jigsaw will have DRS on Gabo ahead, so he might be able to actually pull on the Haas down the straight. Farther back, look at this. Ryan Hurricane fighting with Raptor, and around the outside, he'll squeeze by him. I don't like this camera angle very much. It shows a lot without telling much at all. At the front, though, Kinsey is closing in on XRRL Edgar, and if this works out in his favor, he can start using DRS to keep pace with him. Zola now has a time penalty for track violations. No DRS down the start-finish line straight. There has been a thing in past years, but in the last 2 years that has not been a thing. So Kinsey just has to try and fight to stay within a second of Edgar around the rest of the circuit. He's actually closing just a bit through here. Loses a bit, though, coming out of 4. And he's not close enough to get DRS by the looks of it. Or maybe he is, but even if he is, he's not close enough to really make anything of it. And no DRS for... No, there is. Mercedes gets the DRS down the straight. So he's going to use this to close down on Edgar. Edgar himself, though, closing down on Matrix on second. And Matrix, yes, close enough to get DRS on the Ferrari on the following straight. But Kinsey is the big beneficiary for the moment. He gets plenty of DRS down the straights. Counterpoint, though, is that he's going to really be burning away the tire life because he spins almost all of Sector 3 right underneath the rear wing of Edgar and dealing with the aero wake of 3 cars ahead of him. Torpedo has fallen to about 3 seconds out from Kinsey at this point in the race. Zola now gets by Raptor, so neither of the McLarens having a good day. Great in qualifying, but very, very poor in the race itself. Torpedo goes off circuit, and that will let 19 go by. So soft tires still have advantage over the mediums, it would appear. Edgar now has a time penalty. Now work out in Kinsey's favor. Kinsey within half a second of the AlphaTauri. He's just set the fastest lap of the day as well. For Kinsey, though, I just have to hope he's not burning it all up early. Going hard this early in the race is great and all, but if you can't convert that into a good finish, it's not going to be much. He's had a lot of trouble finishing races before. Hopefully it's not going to be any problem today. And 19 has had a spin! And 19 spins out of 5th position. And he will drop all the way to 11th spot, and this will not help him whatsoever. Zola is going to sneak by him, I imagine. Maybe not, actually. Well, Zola will have DRS advantage going down the straight at least. But that will put Torpedo back into 5th, but he is now 4 seconds out from Kinsey. And again, the top 4 all close in on each other. Although Davis has opened up a gap on Matrix this time, but Edgar has DRS that he's able to use to close in on Matrix and can use it as a passive defense against Kinsey. So Davis just staying barely out of DRS range. It's letting Matrix have to fend off Edgar going down the 2nd straight. And the medium tires still have not picked up to the pace that the softs have. As Jigsaw is now the driver behind Torpedo. Both of these two are on medium tires. Torpedo will have a slight advantage, and Zola has had an incident back there in Sector 3. Has spun off there. This will drop him to 16th, 17th spot. Bad luck for him. And Kinsey pitting out of 4th. So this gives the advantage to Edgar now. And Zola, another incident. Significant front wing damage on that car as well. The good news for Kinsey is that he's far enough ahead of the rest of the field that, well, I guess it's not really advantage, because although he's going to be ahead of some drivers, he's not ahead of everybody. In fact, Mr. Worst, who had a spin on the first lap, is actually going to be ahead of him. So Kinsey throwing away track position to get on the alternate strategy, throwing on a set of mediums at this point in the race, but he's going to be in 16th. The good news, though, he's far enough away from everyone else that it will be clean track for a while. Edgar, meanwhile, has gotten by Matrix using DRS down the 1st straight. Now Matrix is going to try and fight back going down the 2nd straight. Aston Martin closing on the AlphaTauri. Under braking, he goes to the outside. Can't make it stick, though. Contact. And Matrix really comes out the worst for it. This works out well for Davis Don at the front, though. Smoothie gets by Gabo. Holly Boy takes 10th from 19. Flavor is there, doing a good job keeping pace with the drivers around him. Now 19 fights back against Collie Boy, going through those Mickey Mouse corners. Ooh, Collie Boy, not a good run whatsoever. He's got hammered a bunch of spots now. That moves 19 up to 10th and Flavor up to 11th. And now Raptor will be looking to try and get by the Mercedes. Meanwhile, closer to the front, Ultimate. He crashed out at the very end of Q2. We didn't really crash out. The car was still in one piece, but he's relegated to 11th. He's now making a run on Jigsaw. They take wildly different runs through turns 3 and 4 there. Oh, and Gabo's out. And that's coming out of turn 4. And that is a virtual safety car. Gabo totally out of the race in the middle of the racetrack. And that's a full course. It's been advanced now to a full course safety car. No one really in a position to take advantage of it and gain some extra positions. But Gabo, your first DNF of the day, sadly. This will help out Edgar and Matrix. They will both be closed in a little bit more on Davis Don now. But it seems like the soft tires really were the way to go. One driver who will get a small advantage from this, though, will be Kinsey Retro. If anyone farther ahead elects to pit, they'll be good. All right, coming in the party now is Gabo. Gabo, go ahead and include your audio. Big accident. What happened coming out 4 there?
Hey guys, well, I was steering the right hander of Sector 1 and I got into the red things and white things and fly away from the track. So yeah.
It was a nasty incident. It's a shame to see you out. Do you think you can recover and have a good day next week?
Yeah, thanks. See you.
Alright, well, that's the word from Gabo 36720. His teammate Mr. Worson's still in the race, but not in the points paying position, so he's going to have to hope, obviously, that Worson's able to start turning things around for the better. No one at the front elected to pit under this safety car. In fact, it looks like no one is pitting on track except for, well, I see Collie Boy and Raptor paying out of 11th and 12th. So Kinsey will likely go ahead and pick up over them. Worson also pitting. So Kinsey will filter up into about the 12th position now. But other than that, I think that'll be it. Waddington coming in. So several drivers near the back of the grid electing to pit. Lowe's Payne as well. Will Ozda pit? Ozda will not pit, so Ozda might pick up a position over Lowe and Waddington. Zola way back there at 19th. This is the yellow flag has been absolutely fantastic news for him. He's saying he was so far off from the rest of the grid. We weren't really too deep into this fuel or tire run. The soft tires still were plainly faster than the mediums. But drivers near the back wanting to get off strategy and try to make something happen here. And it might shake things up farther back. Kinsey, the real interesting one, he threw away track position to get on a set of medium tires. He's gained some of that track position back, and he will be on fresher tires than everyone ahead of him. Will the fresher mediums be faster than the worn softs, though? Beasting's right ahead of him. He's going to have to try and overtake him quickly. This will be interesting. Zola, it's going to take a long time for Zola to catch up to the back of the grid, though. You look, he's more than a minute off of Davis Don's time right now. The good news is he's able to close a lot of that time down in the straights, but yeah, most of Sector 3 you take relatively close to racing speed, so it was not in this game, obviously. In the Forza games, there was a league that I took part in that did NASCAR races around here. Not the entire circuit, but only half. And when we were running around there, trying to set laps in Sector 3 was god-awful under yellow flag because, unironically, you were faster under the safety car than you were under full pace, and it was a pain. And we actually had an incident where somebody crashed into the pace car simply because of how janky and Mickey Mouse-like the third sector is there. But Collie Boy has caught up to the back of the grid, and we can anticipate to see Ozda, Waddington, and Lowe catch up by the end of this lap. So they will be going green by the looks of it on lap 10. Lowe hitting now, and Lowe had put a fresh set of softs on, but he's electing to make a stop all of a sudden. And he's not the only one. Zola pitting as well. Why? Well, this basically means that they're not going to have a chance to catch the back of the grid. Very bizarre choice. They're putting on another set of fresh mediums on Zola, and for Lowe, moderately worn mediums. These are the mediums he started the race on. And now they're both so far off, I don't think that either Lowe or Zola have any chance of really... Well, Lowe might catch the back of the grid. There's no chance for Zola to catch the back of the grid, though. He's back to being about a minute out from the leader. All right. So we'll likely be coming to the green flag here very shortly. I think Lowe's just gonna catch the field as he gets to the end of the second straightaway here. Maybe I'm wrong. He's 30 seconds out now. Okay, yeah, no, we might not go this lap because Lowe and Zola pitting again kind of throws a monkey wrench into everything. All right, Lowe's about 7 seconds off the back of the grid, so he should be able to close that back in Sector 3, but Zola's not going to catch the back. So the question is, are we going to go green this lap or not? It does not look like it. There's no effort from the safety car to come into the pits. So Lowe and Zola belay the green flag another lap as both of them elected to pit again. So all these extra laps in their safety car will have a significant knock-on effect. The soft tires will still be taking a little bit of wear because of how slow you run in Sector 3. They're still taking wear. I mean, everyone's tires are, but the softs are going to feel it a little bit more. But this will, as a counterpoint though, this will help everyone when it comes to fuel mileage. Although for Lowe and Zola, not as much, considering that they've been spending most of this time rushing to try and catch the back of the grid. But as we look down the entire order, Ryan Hurricane is still low on fuel, but as we continue to run under safety car, I imagine that will fix itself. 19... it looked like he was low on fuel. I think I read that wrong, though. Raptor is low on fuel. Ozda is low on fuel. But yeah, those seem to be it. So... that was the wrong thing. Still, very bizarre choice. The field is now all gathered up, so Javis John will be leading Edgar and Matrix to the green. How will John bunch up the field coming to the green flag? John has had 3 wins in a row earlier this season, including the caution-free race at Monaco. And he has inherited the points lead after a good run at Brazil. And then both him and Matrix not taking points last week, obviously, has kind of shaken things up. He has a 1-point lead coming into this race, started on the pole, and has led pretty much all the laps today. Now the question is, those tires have a lot of wear on them. How will he hold up the grid coming to the green? Safety car coming in this lap officially now. I really do not like this old layout. And primarily just coming off that second back straightaway. I hate that stupid, weird square chicane. None of those corners work well in any car. I'm so glad they reprofiled this circuit. All right, John opens up a 1-second gap on Edgar right away, and then closes it back down under braking. This is not a place where you want to be too close to the driver ahead. Raptor opened up a gap as well, so he's not going to run a risk of catching the person ahead. All right, coming to the green flag here. John, how will he bunch up the field? Will he even try? They come to the final quarter, put the power down, fly out of the last corner, and Edgar actually did a good job holding on to John, but Matrix is in an even better position, apparently. The entire grid relatively close, and farther back, Kinsey trying to make a move on Beastian will not make it stick. Ultimate gets by Jigsaw, and Boy sneaks by Raptor as well. So the soft tires still better than the mediums near the back of the grid, and now Raptor has to deal potentially with Ozda. Ozda's gonna sneak by Raptor. So the McLaren's completely imploding today by the looks of it. But near the front of the grid, Torpedo now close enough to try and do something with Matrix. It's Boy and Ozda fighting back there for 14th. Boy has relatively fresh sauce. He's going to likely be flying up the field for a little bit here. Waddington now gets by Raptor back there. Jigsaw there behind Ultimate. There's no DRS yet. We're going to have to wait about 2 laps for that to kick in. Oh, Beastian trying to fight Kinsey still. Kinsey going around the outside. It's going to be very difficult to make it stick around the outside here. He's going to try and hope that the Red Bull makes a mistake and he can cross over. Not able to do anything though, and that actually causes both of them to lose a bunch of time. And Kinsey's still stuck behind the Red Bull. Now he's going to have to deal with Mr. Worsen, who is holding up a charge from Ozda. Ozda sees Boy go. Oh, wow, that's a spin from Beastian. Right in front of Kinsey, just after Kinsey got a time penalty. So now Kinsey gets a time penalty, but now it's relatively clear track ahead of him. And the Alpine of Jigsaw coming in. Now Ozda gets a time penalty. Flavor now up into 9th, and he's there behind 19 and Ryan Hurricane, and Kinsey is not too far behind them. As Boy making a move on Ozda, can't make it stick. Ozda will hold on to 11th, but Boy has the advantage with fresher tires, and Beastian is out. Beastian retires in pit lane. Apparently the damage was his terminal, or maybe he crashed coming into the pits. That could have happened also. We gotta try real quickly to get Beastian into the party, but I don't have a lot of anticipation that it will happen. Down the straight, Colley right there behind Ozda. He looks to the inside. Drag race between 2 Mercedes engines. Boy has the advantage by the looks of it into braking now, but Ozda has a cleaner line going through, and he will be able to hold the position. So Kinsey now back in the 10th, although he has a time penalty in the process. And he's going to try and be bearing down on Flavor as soon as he can. Flavor holding on to the back of 19 is this little 3-car train between Smoothie, Ryan, 19, well 4-car train, Smoothie, Ryan, 19, and Flavor here. But farther up, I think we are now finally starting to see the old soft tires starting to fall off. Matrix holding on to Edgar well, even without DRS advantage. And Torpedo's doing the same. Jan is still opened up gap over about a second and a half on Edgar, but Matrix might be able to fight back and try to get second position back. DRS has been re-enabled. Matrix is not going to play the DRS strategy game. He's going to try and make the overtake here down the main straight. Edgar had a quicker entry, but it doesn't, and he will cut Matrix off going into 3, and that brings Torpedo into play now. And Ultimate's there, ready to capitalize. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all on medium tires, and right now it seems like the mediums are faster than those worn softs, so it seems like the turnover point is about 11 laps into the stint. Coming onto the straightaway now. Matrix will have DRS on Edgar. Edgar has one of the fastest cars in the straight line. The AlphaTauri, everyone says is one of the fastest in the straight, so he'll be able to use that as a partial defense. But will that be enough? Down the first straight, it looks like there'll be just enough, although Matrix goes to the outside to look for a spot, but all that does is leave a room open for Torpedo to throw it up the inside. Matrix defends. Now he gets another run down the straight. DRS, but they cannot do anything to the Honda, and again, contact between Matrix and Torpedo. Matrix is fast enough to get by Edgar, but it doesn't matter, because all you need to do is just be fast enough down the straightway, and you can defend endlessly. Now we see Ultimate making an on-track overtake on Torpedo, going through Sector 3, a very risky move, but he made it stick. Good job by Ultimate. But the soft tires, at least Edgar's soft tires, are definitely falling off. Matrix is paying the price for it because it's leaving him open to attack from drivers behind. Yellow flag in the final sector. That's Raptor, who has had an incident. Kinsey, fastest lap of the day now, 141.785. He's now up into the 8th position. He has overtaken Flavor, overtaken 19. He's now trying to work on Ryan Hurricane farther up as 19 now gets passed by Ozda and Collie Boy. Ryan, time penalty now. All right, Matrix has DRS on Edgar. Or does he? No, he does not. He actually lost time, so this actually is going to leave him open to attack from Ultimate. Now, Ultimate, again, they've been saying in the Haas camp that the engine is so down power and the aerodynamic package is so draggy that DRS really doesn't enable him to attack. It really just only enables him to hold even. But it's good enough for him. And Mr. Worsen, the other Alfa Romeo, has had a DNF. As these two are fighting here, and Ultimate will get by Matrix. Yellow flag still in sectors 1 and 2 there, but nothing, and Ozda has had an incident. Ozda off circuit there at the end of the back straightaway. That will drop him to about 13th position. He's not the only one. Collie Boy also has actually taken damage, so he's had contact with someone. So Collie Boy's great run, charging through the field on those fresh softs, comes to an end. It's just too difficult to make clean overtakes here. Waddington now behind Flavor, but Flavor is holding on to 19 well enough that he's able to use DRS as a defense. Low there in 12th. So he's recovered decently well, and Zola is out now. Zola has had an accident there in the final sector, and that's a full course safety car. That'll be our 4th DNF of the day, and Zola crashed right at pit lane entry. And for Raptor, this is really bad news, because if he wants to try and get off cycle to get anything, he really has to fight to get around his teammate. Collie Boy also came into the pits, but now another full course safety car. And the strategies now continue to deviate as we try to get Zola into the party now to hear what happened from his perspective. James Dog continuing to dominate this race at the front, but he has yet to change tires. Track position seems to be everything at the front, because as long as you have a good enough straight line speed, you can hold off any attack that anybody behind makes. Good news for Collie Boy and Raptor, though, neither of them will be at risk of going a lap down. They're both going to be able to close back up to the rear of the grid without issue. Although they are far enough back that they're not going to be able to pick up any extra positions. They will be on fresher tire. They will be on fresh tires, and will have negated the lap time disadvantage relatively early on. So yeah. So does anyone near the front pit? That is the question now. We're only 15 laps into a 55 lap race. At the front, Jabaston will pit. Edgar will pit. Ultimate will stay out. Matrix will pit. Torpedo will pit. Smoothie will pit. Ryan Hurricane will pit. Kinsey Retro is going to turn around and get the track position back they had early on. 19 will pit. Flavor will stay out. Waddington stays out. Lowe stays out. A bunch of drivers staying out. A bunch more coming in. This is going to really shake up the grid order now. Lowe, who was nearly a lap down at one point, now up in 6th. Flavor up in the 4th position. Kinsey, who threw away track position early, it's now turned around. He is now the highest he's been all day in 3rd. Jigsaw actually ends up gaining a position over 19, so he'll move up. So yeah, very interesting scenario to say the least. Will take a while for the entire grid to catch and gather up though. But Ultimate has caught the pace car. I don't think we're going to be seeing green flag though until about lap 18 more than likely. So Ryan Hurricane, he needs to catch up to the back of the grid here down the straight. I think he'll do that without too much of an issue. I think Smoothie will probably catch the back of the grid under braking. As will Jigsaw. As will 19. Well, 19 will catch them here in this silly Mickey Mouse section. But Collie Boy and Raptor still trying to catch up to the back of the grid. And for Raptor, it's not great because he's still low on fuel while trying to catch the back of the grid now. He's not really able to capitalize on this extended safety car. He's still down on fuel. He's basically rushing to catch the back of the grid still. Collie Boy has caught the back, though. Raptor not going to catch it this lap. So, again, I think we're not going to see the green flag until lap 18, more than likely. So now things change because the two drivers who have been 1-2 for a good part of this race, the top three who have been top three most of this race, John, Edgar, Matrix, they are now 8th, 9th, and 10th. They have fresh tires ahead of everyone ahead of them, but track position has been king most of the day today, and DRS overtakes has been very, very difficult to even pull off. Edgar will probably be able to make something happen because the AlphaTauri is stupid fast in a straight line, but other than that, we've not seen anything else. And Collie Boy pitting, he takes off the medium and will throw on a set of softs instead, so Collie Boy wanting to try and rush his way up through the grid once more. As Raptor finally catches the back of the grid, and I think Collie Boy will be just close enough to catch the back of the grid, coming into Sector 3 again. But Ultimate now leads. He has not pitted yet. 3 drivers have not pitted yet today in this race. That is Ultimate, Torpedo, and Flavor, the drivers first, second, and fourth. So this track position, while working well for them at the moment, they will have to concede at some point to get different tires on their cars. How does Ultimate bunch up the field coming to the green flag? That's going to be the big question here. And will Collie Boy be able to catch the back of the grid in time? I think he will. Yeah, I think he's going to catch them just as they come into braking for coming into Sector 3. If not sooner than that, actually. Yeah, he's pretty much caught Raptor as it is, so... And then they're not the only one. Smoothie is back there in 12th. He has soft tires, and he's in the AlphaTauri, which is extremely fast in a straight line. So, assuming nothing goes wrong for Smoothie, your third in championship fight might be able to claw back into the points-paying positions and fight with Matrix and John. Again, Matrix, second in points, led the points for a good chunk of the season. He's 10th now. John, 8th, who is currently your points leader. It's going to be a rough run up through the grid for them. But we're coming to the green flag. Ultimate, Torpedo, Kinsey, and Flavor at the front 4. How will they fight for position? We're off. And it seems like Torpedo got a relatively good exit out of the final corner. So the top 2 stay about just under 5/10 between each other. Same with second and third. Flavor falls off though. And that leaving him up to attacking Wyington. So 2 Haas machines in the top 5. Trying to go around the outside of Flavor. It looks like he will be able to do it. Flavor is not able to keep pace, so medium tires are really worn out and do not seem to have the pace necessary for him to grip up and put power down the straightaway. Low trying to hold out against Flavor. Flavor being very generous though, trying just to not be in anyone else's way. He knows his tires are not good. Kinsey is going around the outside Torpedo, though, down the straight. And they're both making a move on Ultimate. And the Ferrari goes in the top spot now. Kinsey has to back out to avoid. Now Waddington capitalizes. He's going to try and sneak by Kinsey, but the car clambers over the curbs and is not able to maintain speed. Now Lowe is there. It's a cluster mess out in the front. Has had an instant, has spun and fallen all the way to the last place position back there. But he will be able to continue. Ultimate opening up, trying to open up more than a 1 second gap on Torpedo. The Torpedo is fighting back in 3 and 4. Torpedo's trying to get back ahead of Kinsey. Waddington was not able to stay ahead of the Mercedes for the brief moment he was alongside of him. Now Waddington's gonna have to deal with Lowe and Ozda down the straight. Lowe. Oh, here comes Ozda against Lowe. 19, another spin there in Sector 1 now. Ozda now dives to the inside of Lowe, going into the braking zone. Not fast enough to do anything, but he's gonna lunge, and there's contact! And a bunch of drivers involved, and Waddington is not gonna be happy with that, as Ozda sent a move that had a 0% chance of success. It clattered into Lowe, and it spun Waddington in the process. That will likely be a post-race time penalty, I imagine, against Ozda, as Edgar now sneaks by. Ozda, or is trying to, as Ozda is actually going to get run off circuit a bit there. They're still fighting Edgar off track, trying to get back on. Now John trying to capitalize. John lost that position to Edgar in all the hoopla, and now he wants to get back by for that spot, but it's so hard to make overtakes in this Mickey Mouse-like Sector 3. Edgar putting a lot of pressure on Ozda right now. DRS has been enabled. So this is not good news for Ozda because he is going to be without DRS down the straight more than likely, although Edgar wants to try and get by the Aston Martin before they even get there. I think Edgar realizes that his car is fast enough that even with DRS, he'll be able to hold off almost any charge that comes, but he really wants to maximize that. He's going around the outside, and he's got him with a better exit out before he gets him. But now Edgar is the one without DRS coming onto the straight. And Torpedo has gotten by Ultimate with DRS assist. Kinsey trying to do the same. Don't give me an onboard shot, okay? For crying out loud, I want to actually see from above. It's bad camera angles. Ultimate now behind Kinsey, and Kinsey trying to close in on the Ferrari of Torpedo. So the top three all still fighting for a lead. Kinsey throws it up the inside of Torpedo. Ultimate's there, ready to capitalize. And Kinsey now takes the lead. Contact between two Ferrari-powered cars behind. Lowe is now there in fourth, ready to capitalize. And while these all are fighting, it's going to bring Edgar to the front. Edgar has tires way better than anyone here and way better straight line speed than any of them. Kinsey already opened 1.3 seconds on Ultimate. Again, there are only 2 DRS zones here, and that's the 2 back straightaways. There used to be DRS on the main straight, but they've taken that out in the last few years. Edgar now gets a time penalty. It's not going to help him as he's trying to get by Lowe right now. Jigsaw now has a time penalty. Also, I didn't notice, but Ryan came into the pits and he's thrown on a set of hard tires. Those will likely last him to the end of the race. And if he wants to throw on a different set of tires, it's now his choice to do so whenever a safety car does come out. All right, AlphaTauri going around the outside of the Alpine. Again, the AlphaTauris have had amazing straight line speed. Torpedo and Ultimate fighting for second just ahead of them, and that kind of keeps Edgar from being able to do anything to Lowe. They're all on top of each other. It's a mess here, 2 by 2. the Ferrari is the one without DRS, so he's going to get freight trained by all of these drivers going into the braking zone. The Haas has the spot for the moment, and now both Ferraris have caught each other. Oh, and Torpedo and John into each other. Is there damage? Yes! Your points leader, James John, has front wing damage. He may have to pit to repair it. And Smoothie has gotten by Ozda. Or maybe he hasn't. No, they're still side by side as they go into the tunnel section now. Oh, Smoothie! You're third in the championship fight. He spins off his into the wall with a massive amount of front wing damage. The entire front wing ripped off the car, and 2 of your championship contenders, 3 of the Matrix as well has to pit to repair damage. So your top 3 in the points all have 3 separate accidents and have to all repair damage at the same point. This really throws things into a mess, and this is good news for Torpedo and Lowe, because now both of them might be able to start turning things around in the championship fight, and Raptors had an incident of his own back there. Although it looks like there's no damage to his car. Edgar finally gets by Ultimate for second. DRS working in his favor. Now Ultimate will have DRS on the following straight, but again, the AlphaTauri is way faster in a straight line than the Haas's. Again, everyone's very much been saying that the AlphaTauris are fastest in straight, and the Haas just needs DRS to kind of keep pace with others in a straight. So there's not really a real fight here. Ozza now gets by Torpedo on the inside, but contact between 2 Ferraris hurts your points leader James Dunn. Then it has knock-on effects. We did not see what happened with Matrix, but we saw Smoothie was side by side with Ozda and got knocked off circuit and went to an outside wall. Thankfully, all 3 drivers, it happened in the final sector, so they were able to pit without too much issue. But now, John back there in 10th, Matrix in 13th, Smoothie all the way down in 15th position. And Torpedo coming into the pits. He wants off these tires that he's been on, so Flavor will now be the driver on the old tires. Ultimate also finally pitting off his 22-lap Ward mediums. But Flavor says there's still more that he can squeeze out of them, so he's going to keep going for a while. So Flavor now back up into the 5th spot. So now it's Edgar versus Kinsey, and there's been a... Who is that? Is that Matrix? Or is that Ozda? Yes, Ozda has had a spin coming out of 3, and now he'll fall to 5th, so Flavor now goes up in the 4th position. Ozda! And contact with Waddington. Waddington saying that he is not happy with how Ozza has been treating the Haas drivers today. Bullied his way right by. And he's not the only one. Jigsaw. Another instant, the entire front wing ripped off for the Alpine. And this will likely relegate him to 16th. Might even put him a lap down for the lead though. Edgar trying to go to the inside. Kinsey can't make it stick. He'll have to wait another lap, but the advantage is in Edgar's favor. He's on fresher tires, the car is faster in the straightaway, and he'll have DRS advantage. But the 2 of them were actually pulling on Low in 3rd, and Flavor has now worked his way back into the 4th position here. Outstanding job by Flavor. He's done a great job keeping pace with the other drivers this week race and last race. He was not able to finish last week, sadly, but he's really upped his pace over the last few weeks. He's actually beginning to actively fight for positions on track rather than just letting it come to him by surviving. So, good job on Flavor. Second, his highest finish thus far in an XRRL sanctioned event, has not yet won anything. The hope is that maybe that can change for him sooner rather than later, but behind him is Waddington and Ozza both closing with faster tires, although the 2 of them are spending a lot of time fighting between themselves. Ozza right there behind the Haas. Getting a run coming into the braking zone, but not close enough to do anything. Is at the front. Edgar DRS, he's going on the outside of the Mercedes. There's nothing that Kinsey can do except fight back in the braking zone. A little bit of contact, and that works out in no one's favor. They're both actually going to lose a bunch of time. But now Kinsey has DRS on Edgar. And the Mercedes has a good enough engine package. He's able to pull alongside, and it looks like going around the outside, he'll get that spot back. Farther back, Waddington and Ozda continue to fight for 5th and 6th. Waddington has DRS on Ozda. Ozda seems to just be trying to run a defensive line down the straight. He thinks he can outbrake the Haas going into the braking zone. Ooh, contact. And no, Waddington will get the position over Ozda. And Torpedo has lost the spot to Matrix, and Ryan Hurricane has lost the spot to Collie Boy. So despite having fresh tires, it's now worked against Torpedo and in Matrix's favor. Davis John, your points that are coming into this race, buried in 15th, while his rival, Matrix, is now 9th. Although Torpedo's there in 10th, trying to fight back. Ryan Hurricane has inherited 12th off of all the weird chaos that's been going on today. All right, Ozda is still right there behind Waddington and still has the advantage by the looks of it. And at the same time, Kinsey and Edgar have actually been holding steady over Low. Ozda right there behind Waddington, and Ultimate's there. Ultimate has nice, brand new medium tires. He's gonna be faster than both of them. Ho ho! Look at this! And Ultimate's gonna squeeze by both of them, and now Ozda's gonna have DRS on one Haas, but not the other. He's gonna get into the draft of Ultimate. Waddington tries to cut him off. Ozda does not care. He's faster than both of them down the straight. He looks down the outside. His nose is ahead in the braking zone, and with DRS, Ozda overtakes both of the Haas's, and will get fit back, and Kinsey holds off Edgar again. Now Ozda trying to hold off Ultimate. Ultimate looks to the outside of Ozda. Waddington's there ready to capitalize. And there we are. Ultimate fights back just by having the fresher tires. He's able to do a lot more under braking and use that to get that position back. But at the front, Kinsey has been doing an outstanding defense against Edgar, despite the fact that Kinsey's tires are about 10 laps older. And Lowe is starting to close in on this fight, but Lowe's tires are just as old as Kinsey, so I think in the slightly longer term, I think this will work out well in Kinsey's favor and Lowe's favor. Ozda now gets a time penalty for track violations. Waddington trying to catch Ozda's Ultimates run away. The fresher tires really serving to prove an advantage here. Matrix has just set the fastest lap. They're in 9th, and he is running down 19. Oh, and Ozda's had a spin! And Ozda has gone totally off circuit there. Can't even see where he is on the track. At the front, though. Crossover. Edgar has it over Kinsey. And now Kinsey trying to fight back. DRS in Kinsey's favor. He goes around the outside again. But the AlphaTauri has the advantage. But he does not have a good exit. It doesn't matter. He has enough. So Edgar finally gets by Kinsey for good. The fresher tires are the deciding factor in that fight. Ozda has spun all the way and fallen all the way out of the points down to 11th, now 12th, as he loses to Torpedo as well. And Jigsaw has just had an instant there, coming out of 3. And that's on fresh, soft tires, so Jigsaw now more than likely will go a lap down as Edgar still holds the lead. Kinsey holding on to 2nd, though. Low 3rd. Smoothie now gets by Ozda. And Flavor continues to hold on in 4th position. Although he is losing time rapidly to Ultimate, who has very fresh rubber. Imagine Waddington will probably catch and overtake 19 in the next few laps. Although 19 does have the advantage of fresher rubber. This is the real fight, though, as Ultimate is chewing away at Flavor's gap they once had over him. Ooh! Bad run coming out there. That was an easy overtake if I ever saw it. Flavor really having a bad time on those very worn medium tires. Most of the battles on track have pretty much settled down. It's turned into pretty much a strategy game at this point. As we now see Jigsaw coming in to repair that front wing damage. So for Lowe, they cannot afford to pit him this lap. If they were so choose, it would actually really harm him negatively. But it looks like I think he can probably stay out for another lap without too much issue. Ozda, another time penalty. Just not working out super well for him. And with that, Jigsaw will officially go a lap down. Kinsey, another time penalty. Time penalties might take away a good finish from him from the end of this race. But like I said, pretty much all the battles are gone on circuit, although here's one interesting one. Matrix on the fresher soft tires is closing in on Waddington. But the gaps are so big around most of the circuit that you get some great laps on the sauce, but you kind of burn them up by the time you catch someone, and Oz's crashed out! Oh, and that's right there in the middle of the racing line, and that's a full course safety car, and this could really have some interesting effects. Raptor will get a free pit stop out of this. Jabez Don can get a free pit stop out of this as well. Jigsaw might be able to get back on the lead lap as well, but Ozda out of the race. Where Ozda is going to come into the party. XRRL, Ozda, go ahead and cruise your audio. Accident there in Sector 3. What happened?
Basically, click the curb is the combination of two things. Clipped the curb and got in the power too early.
It was a nasty incident out there. Although you were looking relatively strong early on, multiple instances where the tires just fading away from you at the end of that stint.
Yeah, they were pretty much like ice, really. Yeah, I would say I spun in the S's. They were probably overheating quite a lot as well, so yeah, it's quite annoying.
Alright, well, it's a shame to see that happen to you. Do you think you'll be able to rebound next week?
I'm hoping so, but I'm not too sure if is it China next week?
I think it's China, yeah.
Probably not then. I don't really like that circuit, so but we'll give it our best shot, and we'll have to see.
Alright, well, thanks for being willing to step into the party. Shame to see you out. Hopefully, circumstances turn more in your favor in the future.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, Flavor will now finally pit, so he'll give up the track position he has gained. Kinsey and Lowe pitting. Kinsey on another set of mediums, and Kinsey says that he has been saving a set of softs for the race. So he says he still has one fresh set of rubber to the end of the race, so keep that in mind. But this is not the set. He has put on mediums. Lowe has put on a set of softs, though. Matrix stayed out. Collie Boy stayed out. 19 is pitted. Waddington is pitting. Flavor, he's got on fresh softs. Smoothie is pitting. Ryan Hurricane is going to take off the hard tires. Torpedo is pitting. They're taking off the rubber in that pit. And there's a big enough gap, and I think Jabez might be happy enough with the tires that they don't have to worry too much about double stacking in the pits. Raptor basically got a free pit stop out of that, so he's going to be very happy. Although it's not likely he's going to actually gain any positions, he still get a free pit stop. The interesting thing, though, is now Edgar is going to be leading with ultimate second, so Edgar is again going to have the benefit. But Kinsey's only really lost one position in this fight to ultimate. That's it. Otherwise, Kinsey is still on track fighting for the race lead, although when it comes to time penalties, the top three all have 6 seconds worth. Lowe in fourth does not have to worry about time penalties. In fact, no one from 4th to 7th has to worry about time penalties, and when we look at time penalties again, 19 only has 3 seconds, Hurricane only has 3, Raptor only has 3, Jabez Gunn only has 3, Jigsaw has 9, but Jigsaw's in an interesting position where they're trying to figure out if he's going to be allowed to get back on the lead lap or not. Because Edgar did not pit under the safety car, he was not able to get a free jump back onto the lead lap. So there's a little bit of chaos trying to figure out if he's allowed to go by and get back on the lead lap or not. And it looks like, yes, he will be allowed to get back on the lead lap. What? Well, that's bullcrap. Well, that's the biggest piece of bullcrap I've ever seen. So we're back to that glitch, huh? Where the game disqualifies you for trying to get back on the lead lap when you should be able to. Nice. I see how it is. Nice. We're now down to only 14 cars. And the entire field will be gathered up very shortly here, so I imagine we'll be going green on lap 31, a little bit more than halfway through this race. Edgar on the oldest set of tires of everyone in the grid. But even at that, 13 lap mediums isn't that bad. We've seen those mediums can last about 22 laps. All right, there we are. Entire field's gathered up now. All right, and coming into the party is XRRL Jigsaw. Jigsaw, what can I say? This game is stupid. It seems like we're back to the glitch where it automatically penalizes you for trying to get the lap back. But go ahead and walk us through the race from your perspective real quickly. All right, disappointing run. Do you think you'll be able to rebound, though, next week? All right, well, it's a shame to see you out, mate. And that's the word from Jigsaw. Obviously, he seems to think that some of the blame can be put on Edgar for not letting him by. But to be fair, I might need to look at the rules again, but I don't think Edgar is under any requirement to get off the circuit and let someone else by. I could be wrong, but I don't know of any requirement that Edgar would have to let a lapped traffic by like that. Anyways, coming to the green flag. Edgar seems to be one of the fastest cars on the track. How will he back up Ultimate, who's been one of the fastest as well? And then there's Kinsey on fresh mediums and low on fresh softs. And Waddington gets a penalty for a collision with Favor coming to the line, so that's not going to help the Haas at all. But we are off, and at the front, Edgar got a good run against Ultimate, but Ultimate, hey, Kinsey spins right out of third and smacks the wall. And the great, fantastic run that Kinsey's been having all day long evaporates in the blink of an eye, and there might be front wing damage, and that may be it for Kinsey's day. Aggravation and frustration in the Mercedes camp. Hopefully we'll get another camera angle soon so I can get a better idea if there's front wing damage or not. Yeah, there is front wing damage, so we will have to pit to repair it. So a fantastic run for Kinsey goes sour with basically no forewarning. But at the front, Edgar, 1.3 seconds over Ultimate, who now has to hold off Low. And once again, Low recovering a bit from the bad championship woes he's been having. As right now, Raptor and James John are both having bad days in the points. This could be a good chance for Low to close back in. Low also has the advantage on track with the freshest tires and has great track position and no time penalties yet. Ultimate's around! Coming out of the final corner, the Haas, who is in second position, spins after putting the power down, and now Ultimate falls to the back. It does not look like there's any damage to the Haas, though, but he will drop all the way to 13th. So all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, two of our top three spin out, and now Edgar has a 1.6 second lead over Low. You could not have given this race to him any better if you tried, and Ultimate spins again in the following corner. Matrix now looking at low. He has draft, he has soft tires. These soft tires are not in a great position. The Matrix is going to have to try and figure out some other way to get by low. DRS is not enabled yet. We should probably see that in the following lap, though. As Torpedo gets by Waddington. The same engines, but the Haas team has worse aerodynamic properties. But it doesn't matter because the Haas can be kind of bullish under defense. And now Torpedo has to try and hold off Ryan Hurricane. Torpedo now looking to the outside of the Haas. Really can't do anything to him. Going through that really annoying Mickey Mouse section. Now coming to the part that I do like about Sector 3. As these corners get gradually tighter and tighter and you're taking more and more speed until you get hard to a hard 90-degree braking zone. It's not a great overtaking opportunity, obviously, but it's fun, in my opinion at least, to watch and drive. Torpedo right there behind Waddington. Now he's going to try and pull alongside. You can see him side by side there. Bit of a crossover by Waddington, but it looks like Torpedo has the position for now. Jean there behind Ryan Hurricane trying to get back by, but Jean has some of the oldest and slowest tires on the track right now, so it's not looking good for him. As his teammate Waddington up into 8th now. Flavor has 5 seconds worth of time penalties, but that might get removed post-race. No guarantee, but that might get removed post-race due to it being collision in the safety car. All right, meanwhile, in 2nd and 3rd, Matrix right there behind low. He has DRS. He's now able to do everything he wants to against the Alpine, assuming he's fast enough through this section. He's within half a second. The DRS pops open again. He lays on the ERS. Thing is, that low is just close enough to Edgar that he's able to use DRS as a defense against the Aston Martin. So that means Matrix will not be able to do anything. And again, Matrix has way worse tires than Low. Low in a fantastic position right now. James John gets by Waddington, or does he? No, he does not. And James John's around, and your points leader again spins. And this will pretty much lock him out of the points-paying positions for a while now. It goes from bad to worse. At the front, Low has caught Edgar, and Matrix is there as well. But Edgar, in the AlphaTauri has some of the fastest straight line that we've seen across all the cars here. Might not be great in the corners, and he has very bad tires, but as long as those rears don't start turning into ice like what Ozza said happened, we should be able to see Edgar do good defense against Low. So right off the back of that AlphaTauri. See Low closing in. DRS pops open on the Alpine. Edgar moves over to try and break the draft, and it looks like that will be enough to keep the Alpine from gaining alongside, going into the braking zone. He's there, but not close enough to make a move. Now into the second straightaway. Edgar, great application of the power, but Low has DRS and draft and ERS he can use as a defense. Edgar is going to defend the inside, but comes a little bit high to try and deny the outside to the Alpine. That's enough to keep the Alpine behind. Low still lunging though, with great speed out of the corners, as he continues to be what might be the fastest driver on track right now. And Ryan Hurricane has had an instant there. He has just fallen down to 11th now, so finally Raptors back in the points. No DRS on the start-finish straight, so Low doesn't really close in on Edgar here. He'll get a good chance to do it, going through 3 and 4 if he navigates these corners properly, and the aerodynamic wake off the AlphaTauri doesn't negatively affect the Alpine. It does not. He closes just a bit. He's within about a third of a second. Now the gap stretches out a bit. He closes right back underneath into braking. Now Collie Boy has caught the back of this group. Down the straight. This is going to be Lowe's best chance to make an overtake. He's got the DRS. He goes to the inside. This should be an easy open and shut move for Lowe. The counterpoint, though, is that Edgar will have DRS and a faster car in a straight on the next straightaway. If he puts the power down well, he might be able to get back by. He has not come out of the chicane with good speed, though. He does have DRS to start closing, but he's not going to be alongside the Alpine in the braking, so it looks like Lowe will inherit the race lead. So good job on his part, at least. And now Edgar will have to hold off Matrix. Matrix is on soft tires that are approaching the end of their life cycle, though, so it'll be a lot harder for Matrix to do anything to Edgar, especially as long as Edgar can still get DRS off of Lowe. Farther back, though. Torpedo right there behind 19. Seems to be relatively solid coming out of the corners in the Ferrari against the Williams of 19. The Williams anticipate to have a slightly stronger engine, but the Ferrari is supposed to have a better overall aerodynamic package. Ooh, a little bit of a twitch, and the Ferrari's by. Twitched by the Williams, the Ferrari goes by, but now the Williams will have the advantage of DRS going down the straight. Was that planned? Well, if it was planned, it was not planned well enough because 19 was still technically ahead of the Ferrari when they got into the DRS detection zone. So the Ferrari actually got DRS down the straight, although 19 will now get the DRS down the following straight. Farther up, Matrix trying to make a move on Edgar, but they both have DRS. It does not look like there's anything the Alfa Romeo, the Aston Martin can do to AlphaTauri. I'm sorry, I am losing my words right now. There are way too many two-letter teams that start with A in Formula One, and it really causes me problems with my mouth. Ryan Hurricane fighting for Waddington for the last points-paying spot at the moment. Jabez John is there. He wants to get back into the points as well to reinvigorate his championship hopes, because at the front, it's Matrix hanging out in third, and that would be an easy retake of the points lead for him if he makes it stick. Not to mention, Smoothie has worked his way up into fifth as well, so that will help him. 19 gets back by Torpedo, as Torpedo's made a mistake there at the end of Sector 3. But there's going to be side-by-side going down the straight. Torpedo will pull out of it, though, just a bit in one. They're still side-by-side coming out of one, though. And the Ferrari will make the on-track overtake stick, so good job on 19 to hold on, though. He might be able to extend this just long enough to get DRS on the Ferrari, and Flavor is closing in on this fight on his own. So Flavor is going to have DRS on both of these drivers going down the following straight now. He's not close enough to make a move yet, it seems, but he is hanging out, and as those two continue to fight, it will work in his favor. Farther up, Matrix once again has a run on Edgar. Edgar still has DRS off of Lowe. He dives to the outside. No room to make a move, though. Farther back, 19 still trying to close on Torpedo. Flavor is still there, closing on both of them. But no shade. Waddington is there behind Ryan Hurricane. And into the braking zone, he lunges to the inside. Oh, side by side, and it looks like he's got the position, or yes, he does. And Jabez John sneaks by the Williams as well. So good job on both of those Ferrari-powered machines. As we look back to the front, Edgar still has the edge over Matrix, and Edgar is just outside of a second of Lowe, though. The moment he loses DRS from Lowe, that's going to be a world of hurt that Edgar is going to be in. The counterpoint to that, though, is that we're getting late enough in the race that it might turn to a scenario where it won't matter for Edgar. If he has another set of tires, whether it be soft or mediums, he'll be able to jump in, throw them on, and Collie Boys had a spin! Coming out of turn number 3, he has a spin and has damaged the front wing, and he's going to have to repair that damage. And he falls all the way down to 8th and will likely fall out of the top 10. So now, Matrix does not have to worry about a Mercedes behind. He only has to focus on Edgar. And Edgar does not have DRS. Down the back straightaway, he looks to the outside. Edgar puts a passive defense up. Side by side, neck and neck. Both these drivers having very worn tires right now. Edgar holds the position, but Matrix had a good time putting the power down and a good exit. Now he goes to the outside. He has DRS. Drag race down the straightaway. The AlphaTauri may be faster in a straight line, but DRS is an extremely good thing to have in such a scenario. Matrix finally gets by Edgar. AlphaTauri now running 3rd and 4th as Smoothie has inherited 4th off of Collie Boy's spin. Smoothie in the middle of nowhere right now. No one in front of him, no one behind him. Flavor has lost a bit of time to Torpedo in 19 for the moment. But he does have the soft tires that will keep him faster, and he still has 3.5 seconds over Raptor behind. But right now, his soft still will have speed as he's trying to close in on 19. Edgar wants to do something back against Matrix down the straight. No, Matrix is not going to have DRS as defense. He's too far away from Low to do anything like that. For Low, though, the real problem is going to be those soft tires he is on is not going to last to the end. He's going to have to pit at least once more in this race. Now we're seeing the gaps really opening up across most of the field here, although Ryan Hurricane is trying to fight back against Waddington. Hurricane has the advantage of DRS down the straight. He's using it to pull on Waddington. He'll jump to the inside. So for the 10th position, Ryan Hurricane gets back by the Haas. Although Waddington now has DRS to fight back, will he be fast enough, or is he good enough coming out of that corner to pull alongside in the braking zone? It does not look like it. So with the end of that battle, it seems like almost all the battles on track are now over, and the question is now just who is going to pit to get off tires? We know Edgar has to pit. He'll probably be the first of everyone on track right now to make the final pit stop. But after that, who else? Torpedo's just at the fastest lap there in 5th position on medium tires, so good job on his part. Neither Haas and neither Mercedes are in the points-paying position, despite the fact that all 4 of those cars are running on track. The Mercedes have had incidents coming in Sector 1. The Haas's have just not been able to do anything. All the overtakes happen here on the straights, and the Haas just cannot really do much to defend. Hollyboy now has a 3-second time penalty. Kinsey now has another 3-second time penalty as well. So that's also going to hurt their chances to try and score points today. If a yellow flag was to come out, though, I can guarantee you almost every single driver on track, with possibly the exception of Torpedo, 19, and Flavor, would pit. Collie might not pit. Collie might stay out as well. It would be iffy. But yeah, right now I think Torpedo, 19, and Flavor would stay out if we had a yellow flag, but other than that, everyone else would pit. I think everyone on track is in a position where they have to pit. I think Flavor also is going to have to pit before this race is over. But other than that, like, I'm honestly looking for... It really just seems to me to be a question of, okay, when do you pit, when do you not? Torpedo has finally caught Smoothie for 4th position, so these two will be fighting for a bit probably. Torpedo has the advantage in tires, and again, Torpedo and 19 could go to the end of this race on the set of tires that they currently have. They won't be very fast. They'll be at 25 laps of wear, but they could go. Matrix is pitting out 2nd now. So the Aston Martin that's in 2nd position is pitting. How far down the grid does he move? Torpedo bounces off circuit coming out of 4 there. Matrix throwing on a set of softs that he'll probably run to the end of this race. It'll be about 14 laps of wear at the end, but yeah. And Matrix also apparently doesn't have time penalties either now, and he's 10th. So this could work out very well for Matrix going forward. Right there behind Ryan Hurricane on track. Here comes Torpedo against Smoothie, neck and neck for 3rd, and it looks like Torpedo will take the spot. Fresher tires and DRS work out in his favor. Now Smoothie will have DRS on the subsequent straightaway. As like we've said so many times, if you were taking a shot every time I say it, you'd probably be under the table right now. And Kinsey! No! And Kinsey Retro has had a crash, and that's a full course safety car, and now everything goes upside down, topsy-turvy for the race. And no one was really in a position to capitalize on that except for Matrix, who now he's 9th. The entire, almost everyone ahead of him is going to pit. He's going to gain a bunch of positions under the safety car. I think Matrix may have just backed into this race win. Who pits? Lowe coming into the pits. Edgar, there's no choice for him. He has to come into the pits. Smoothie coming into the pits. Torpedo, he's going to come into the pits. 19, he's going to come in the pits. Will Flavor pit? No, Flavor is going to stay out. He believes he can make these softs and baby them to the end of the race. He's trying to go for a one-stop strategy. Raptor in the pits, John in the pits. Matrix, obviously, he'll stay out, and he's likely going to go all the way up into 2nd, with Flavor now leading the race. Everybody except for Flavor and Matrix apparently making the stop. But Lowe, the safety car worked out well for Lowe because Lowe has the advantage on track over Matrix now. Hollyboy will have a small advantage. He does not have to pit. Same with Ultimate. These two do not have to pit. Although Ultimate now gets a time penalty for track violations, that's not going to help him. But Flavor now inherits the race lead. But he has a lot of time penalties, so the real fight for this win is going to be between Lowe and Matrix. Matrix trying to get the points lead back. Lowe trying to put himself back in serious championship contention. He's just hanging out on the edge of championship contention right now. If something goes wrong with Matrix, when we go green, it could really upset everything. I think we're going to go green on about lap 44. Gonna try one more time to get Kinsey into the party, although I wouldn't be surprised if he rage quit and jumped off. Well, yeah, it looks like he jumped off altogether. He was that angry. So I guess so much for that. But now we're down to 13 drivers. Only the top 10 get points. And neither of the Haas's are in position to score points. But Waddington has no time penalties. Jabuscan does. And that's the big thing. Jabuscan, who led the points coming into this race, might walk out of here with no points. So that could get interesting. Raptor is back into points paying position, but he's only 8th. Ryan Hurricane is in points paying position. He's only 9th. Smoothie is only 6th, but he has no time penalties, while Edgar and Torpedo ahead of him do. Torpedo is in points, but not in a great points paying position right now. Really, it seems like Matrix is poised to come out here in a great championship fight, great championship position. Flavor, 13 lap war and soft tires, so he's probably going to be the slowest driver on the entire circuit. Counterpoint though is that he's trying to do a one-stop strategy and has given him a lot of track position, but this late race restart is really going to harm him. And that, although he does have, I believe, 5 seconds of penalties. Yeah, he has 5 seconds of penalties that might get removed post-race. So he may not actually have anything against him, but he's going to be slower than everyone behind him. So for him, like we see so many times in these late race restarts for Flavor, he's going to probably hemorrhage track position. It's just going to be a matter of he needs to save as many spots as he can and run the best defense possible against someone who's kind of on the level. The thing is, everyone behind is going to be so much faster than Flavor. It's going to be very hard for him to actually walk out of here with any points. Everybody on circuit, with the exception of Collie Boy, Ultimate, and Matrix, are on brand new soft tires, except for Flavor. And even then, Collie, Ultimate, and Matrix had all stopped before the safety car came out. Matrix has laid all his cards on the table, as has Low. So it's going to be these two fighting for the win here. Safety car coming in this lap. So when we go green, it will be 12 laps to go. Soft tires fall off after about 12 laps. We know that for a fact. So no one will be pitting to the end unless they take damage. Even if there's a full course yellow, there's really no need to pit again. This will be the run to the end of the race that decides everything. How does Flavor and Low back up the field coming to the green flag? All right, pace car's in. Low, outstanding run into the corner, but horrible exiting. Matrix has a run on the outside of Low. For what might turn into the lead of the race. Matrix on the outside, can't make it stick. Flavor has a big bobble there, and that's gonna make him run side by side with Low. He loses that position, he'll lose the position right afterwards. Edgar is faster than both of them. Here comes Torpedo as well. Flavor immediately falls out of point, and now Low is over Matrix for the race lead. Flavor rebounds and solidifies into 5th position, but he choked under pressure, lost a bunch of spots. Now he has 19 behind him, and 19 looks like he's nice and fast down the straights. James John gets by Ryan Hurricane, he's up to the 9th. Smoothie by Raptor, and Smoothie's up to 7th. For the lead, Matrix behind Low. Matrix has tires that are just very slightly more worn than Low, but that difference will become more and more pronounced as this goes on. Low wants to keep Matrix by. Matrix wants to get by. There is no DRS. It's going to be a drag race into the braking zone for 1st and 3rd. Low holds it there. Edgar, Torpedo fighting for spot for 3rd and 4th. It looks like, who's it going to be? Neither of them. And Sean has had another accident. And John spins to 13th now. Oh, Flavor has an issue fighting with 19. He loses the position, so Flavor well on the way of dropping out of the points. Those soft tires are beyond useful for him. So it looks like the decision to stay out has very negatively affected Flavor, and it looks like he might not even walk out here with points. Matrix within just over half a second of Low. It's going to be these two fighting to the end. Smoothie is there in 6th. He's behind 19. Smoothie also is oh, big twitch by 19, running over the curbs. Smoothie has a run on the Williams down the straight. He looks to the outside, side by side into the braking zone. 19 holds the position for the moment. Waddington, Raptor fighting for position. Hurricane gets by Flavor. Waddington dead even with Raptor. Raptor is faster down the straightaways though. Well, Waddington has one advantage. He still doesn't have any time penalties. Smoothie gets by 19. Oh, Raptor by Hurricane and Flavor now. Oh, but Raptor makes a mistake and ends up losing all those positions right afterwards, and Flavor has spun off circuit. And that's it. Flavor, no chance for points today by the looks of it for him. Smoothie muscles his way by 19. Ultimate by Waddington. So now both Haas drivers are both back into the point paying positions. 2 championship contenders, Raptor and James John, out of the points. This could be bad enough that will damn Raptor out of championship contention for the rest of the season. DRS has kicked back in. Matrix within 2/3 of a second of low. So he will have a possible chance. Raptor has had an instant. He'll fall all the way to 13th now. John still hanging on to 11th, but 3 seconds out. Hollyboy not in a position to gain position at the moment. Matrix within 2/3 of a second of low. He may be able to utilize DRS to try and get by the Alpine for first. Low needs to get Matrix to either make a mistake or get time penalties. He wants Matrix to lose as many possible points, as much time as possible. DRS in the favor of the Aston Martin. Down the straight, he goes to the outside. Low puts up a passive defense. Easy DRS overtake for Matrix. Now the tides go in favor of Low onto the following straight. Did he have a good enough run coming onto it? He's got DRS, he's in the draft, but is not closing fast enough to pull alongside into the braking zone. So Matrix now has the lead of the race once more. Farther back, Hollyboy running behind the Haas's. They're being held up by Ryan Hurricane and 19 in the Williams. And these are all for points-paying positions. Waddington has the massive advantage. Matrix is actually just at the fastest lap of the day, 138.5, so he's pulling on Low now. Outstanding job on Matrix's part. Now his tires will fall off in the last lap, but so will Low, so I think this works out in Matrix's favor. He's already hanging on the edge of maybe being beyond DRS striking zone of the Alpine. Flavor finally pitting, and 19's had an accident! All the way off circuit, and that's a virtual safety car, not a full course, but a virtual safety car. We're gonna try and get 19 in to talk with him. Frustration, because he was well on the way to getting points today. And now, that is a full course safety car. So we are now under a full course safety car. So the outcome of this race shifts once more now. Jabus John now back into the points. Raptor standing outside. Flavor is now 12th, and he'll be on the fastest tires and freshest tires of everyone here. And Low may have a chance to try and get back by Matrix now. Not having any luck gaining contact with 19, it would appear. Gonna try one more time. Does anyone have an extra set of soft tires in pit lane that they can use for a run? If you're in the top 4 or 5 positions, there's really no point in pitting. But if you're anywhere from Ryan Hurricane on down, you have another set of soft tires, you might as well jump in and throw them on to try and close up the gap and be faster than the drivers ahead when we go green again. The top 5 obviously aren't pitting, it seems. Will Ryan pit? Does they have another set of tires? They do not. But apparently in the Haas team, they have something for Ultimate. He's coming in. Waddington, though, stays out. Hollyboy, he'll stay out. Jabus John will stay out. Do they have anything for Raptor? Well, they're going to have to because there's front wing damage on his machine. So there's no choice for him. Okay. Raptor's staying out on damaged front wing, apparently, and he just got a time penalty for track violations. It's looking like for Raptor, he's not going to walk out of here with any points, and... Oh, no! And he's crashed! Somehow the car's still alive, but he's crashed under the safety car. He'll have to pit now, but for Raptor, although it looks like he'll be braying at the end, no points. I think his championship hopes are over. And that's it, and that will be relatively good news for Flavor, because that means Flavor will likely be ahead of Raptor coming to the green, and Flavor now does not have any time penalties against him. He pitted for that new rubber, and in the process serves his 5 seconds, so he now has no time penalties. He'll restart 11th, maybe 12th, but likely 11th, and with no time penalties, he'll be in a good position. He might still walk out of here with a point or two. Ultimate, though, he's going to have fresh rubber on the green flag. just about caught the back of the grid. Raptor not even close to catching the rear. And he's gonna have to pit anyway. Damage to that car excessive. The fact that he didn't destroy the front suspension at all is a miracle. Flavor heading out back there in 12th. At penalties, 12 seconds with the penalties for Ultimate, so it's not going to be a good run for him. Edgar has 6 seconds, Torpedo 3, Hurricane 3, Collie Boy 3, Jameson 6, Ultimate 12, Raptor 9th. If you look at telemetry real quickly, just to check everyone's fuel, I think with all the yellow flags they have, yes, everyone is going to be good on fuel to the end of this race. As finally, Raptor comes in the pit lane. So Flavor will inherit 11th over the McLaren. And we'll be going green lap 50 by the looks of it, assuming they don't spend too much time in the McLaren pit. He's already coming out, so it's about 10 seconds off the back of the grid, although that will probably extend out to about 14, 15 or so. But we'll be going green lap 50. So it'll be a 6-lap shootout now. Both Haas drivers back in points-paying positions. Ultimate, though, has a lot of time penalties. He's going to try and use fresh rubber to outrun, to stay in the points. Last week, both Haas drivers got in the points-paying positions, although Ultimate has his points stripped post-race for reasons I can't tell you why, sadly. Now, once again, both Haas drivers in points-paying position, trying to repeat what happened last week. There we are. Raptors pretty much caught the back of the grid. We're coming to the green flag now. Matrix leading low, second. Edgar third. Edgar has fresh tires and a fast car in a straightaway, but there's so much aerodynamic weight, it does not seem he's able to keep up with these two in the front. So Matrix and Low will be able to go fight at it again. Safety car coming in this lap. Good news for Collie Boy, this extra safety car means that he's able to save a little bit of pace in the tires. They're still going to take some significant wear due to the speed that you run under safety car through Sector 3 is comparable to the speed in the normal racing conditions, but still, for Collie Boy, it will put him in a slightly better position going to the end of this race. Excuse me! For Raptor, they only had one other set of softs that already had 8 laps on, so for Raptor, it's going to be hard for him to even try and move up the grid, so yeah, rough time for him. Jabez John now up into 9th. But his rival in the points is leading, and Matrix looking to walk out of here with a commanding points lead. Might walk out of here with more than 20 points in his favor, depending on how this race plays out. Coming to the green flag, Matrix, good run to the line. Ryan Hurricanes had a spin, so the other Williams had us a problem and crashes coming to the green flag, and now he'll have to come and repair the damage to that car. Matrix, however, got a good gap on Low coming to the green flag. Low is fighting back, though, in 3 and 4. So now Flavor up into 10th, Raptor in 11th. Oh, and Low, big twitch coming out, and there it will open up the door for Edgar and Torpedo. They're fighting between each other for 3rd spot. Edgar has draft on the Alpine. Does he make the move? He looks to the outside. Now Torpedo is behind the Alpine. Neck and neck for 2nd. Edgar, Low, a little bit of contact under braking. Low holds the spot. Torpedo, faster on exit than both of them, but clambers over the corners and kills all his momentum. Edgar right there behind the Alpine. Matrix is opening up a 1.5 second gap on Low. This is perfect. This is exactly what Matrix wanted. Farther back, Davis Dawn loses a bunch of positions now as he goes off circuit. Bad run through those corners. He's now lost the position to Collie Boy, lost the position to Ultimate and Flavor. He's now in 10th, might end up losing a position to Raptor as well. He is going to lose a position to Raptor as well. There is not damage to that Ferrari, but he's just not able to maintain anything. Raptor now back to the points paying positions. And Edgar's crashed. Totally off circuit there. And Edgar, who's been reigning in the podium positions all day long, now out of the race. We're going to try and get Edgar into the party real quickly. Frustration. He has been one of the fastest drivers all day long, but a twitch in the final sector on what may be the final restart of the race, and his race is done. John in the pits to repair damage. So there must be damage to that car that we can't see, but that will lock him out of points paying positions. Ryan Hurricane now up to 11th, and depending on how time penalties come out, he might end up ahead of James John. Not to mention, Ryan is on fresh softs. James is now has no tires left but worn mediums. So yeah, Ryan now ahead of James John. This has been a crazy day when it comes to points, to say the least. Waddington up in the 5th. He sees Smoothie and Torpedo fighting for 3rd and 4th positions now. It's a good day for several drivers in the championship fight, primarily Torpedo, Low, and Smoothie, but it's not going to matter because Matrix, who was only out of the points lead by 1 point, is going to walk out of here with what looks like is going to be a 24-point lead over James John and something around 10 to 15 points over Smoothie. The gap between 1st and 2nd is now expanded to over 2 seconds worth of a gap. And when they come across the line, it will be 4 laps to go. Smoothie trying to do something to Torpedo. One thing to consider though, Torpedo has time penalties, Smoothie does not. So Torpedo will likely lose this position irregardless. Ultimate has done a respectable job trying to outrun his time penalties. It looks like as it stands right now, he will fall to about 9th. In the event that we do not bunch up the field again coming to the end of this race. Flavor has also done a good job. He is hanging out in 8th position. And it looks like he's going to come home in 8th or 9th with another small but respectable haul of points today. Ooh, Smoothie got by Torpedo using DRS. I missed that completely. So now Smoothie goes up into 3rd, and he'll start putting focus on Low. So Smoothie trying to keep himself in the championship fight and negate the amount of points that he'll lose to Matrix. Farther back, Flavor closing on Collie Boy and Raptor closing on Flavor. Flavor has better tires than Raptor, but it's just not been quite up to pace, although it's been a lot better for Flavor this week than it has most of the season. Low time penalty there in 2nd. That's not going to help him at all because now he's going to probably lose that position to Smoothie irregardless of what happens now because Smoothie still does not have time penalties. As we watch this battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Flavor's not doing a great job keeping on with Collie Boy. He might actually lose that spot to Raptor just due to DRS. 3 laps to go right now. Ground boy Torpedo, who's reigning 4th, watching Smoothie, putting pressure on Low. First place now 3.2 seconds ahead. The Haas drivers reign 5th and 6th right now, so great job on their part. And Flavor does have a run on Collie Boy down the straight with DRS. Smoothie's trying to get by Low. This is the fight for 7th. Flavor trying to make an overtake on merit. It's with DRS, but it will be an overtake, and he'll take it, and that now moves Flavor up to 7th. Collie Boy's going to try and fight back against Flavor on the following straight, though, using DRS. I think he'll get that spot back without too much issue. Ultimate gets by Waddington, and it looks like Collie Boy will easily overtake Flavor. Raptor not really able to do anything. He closes in heavy under braking, but that seems to be about it. Low hanging. Oh, Raptor, another time penalty. It's not going to help him. Low now behind Smoothie. Smoothie has 2 laps to try and close on Matrix, but with a 2.8 second gap, I think this battle is all but over for the win of this race. So 1st and 2nd on track will walk out here 1st and 2nd in the points lead. great job by Smoothie today, but it's going to just extend the gap he has to the rest of the grid by the looks of it. Flavors let Raptor go by. Although Flavor's still looking like he's going to walk out here with 8th place finishing results. Ryan Hurricane, one of your other championship contenders, only got to come home in 10th. Not a good run for him whatsoever. And Javis John 11th. It would have been even worse if not for the fact that Edgar at 19 crashed out late in this event. We could have had a lot of drivers, championship contending drivers, with a bad run today. Smoothie within 2.5 seconds of Matrix now. So he is closing on the race leader. The counterpoint, though, is that he's not closing fast enough to really do anything. And Matrix is still faster in the corners. The AlphaTauri is great in a straight line. It's a rocket ship. It kind of doesn't matter because you only really have 2.5 straights on this circuit. Flavor closing back in on Raptor with some DRS, so the very worn tires on both Raptor and Collie-Boy are working against him and helping Flavor out, so Flavor might still be able to fight for this position. Ryan Hurricane now another time penalty. As we look at time penalties right now, Raptor 12 seconds with Collie-Boy 6 seconds. Flavor might gain a bunch of positions post-race just because of both Collie and Raptor having all those time penalties. That's not to mention Ultimate himself in 5th with 12 seconds as well. This is the white flag, the final lap of the event. Torpedo is within DRS range of low, and this will be a fight for position, unless one of them get another time penalty. So the Ferrari, will he be able to sneak by low going down the straight? He's closing, but not fast enough to do it on that first straight. He's going to try again in the second one. This will be his last chance to try and make a move. Within 4/10. Oh, and Javis John crashes out at the last lap. So he will not even come close to scoring points today. Torpedo cannot get by low. Flavor couldn't get by Raptor either. Ultimate got by Waddington, but Waddington will still have this position on penalty countback. At the front, XRRL Matrix did not finish last week, lost the points lead. He comes back with a vengeance today. He starts on the front row and will win here at Yas Marina. Smoothie will come home second. Low will come home third. Torpedo fourth. Fifth will be Waddington. Sixth will be... This is where it starts getting really weird across the line. Sixth will be Flavor. Seventh, Collie-Boy. Eighth will be Ultimate. Ninth will be Raptor. And 10th will be Ryan Hurricane. But Matrix, once again, comes home with a victory here. Outstanding job on his part. Just trying to get some invites sent out to various people who had, at least in my opinion, a impressive day. But coming into the party right now is XRRL Matrix. Matrix, go ahead, include your audio.
All right.
A fantastic victory. It's a great way to turn around the DNF from last week. What do you have to say about your run today?
Race was a bit messy. There was a lot of trains, just nobody getting by anyone. I made a daft mistake along the straight and paid the price with a wing for that. Strategy seemed to work. I'm either at P1 or P2. We'll see what happens, but overall I'm pretty happy.
All right, well, it looks like another win for you. If this win holds, this couple of Jameson DNFing on the last lap, means that you're not only going to take the points lead, you're going to have over 20, I think about 24 points lead over Jabus John. Yeah. And you're going to have something around like a 15-point lead over Smoothie as well, leaving today's race.
Yeah, Smooth had a great race as well. Obviously starting from P12 on the grid. Again, no time
you got
penalties
fastest
for
lap
him.
Also, nice.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Smooth did a great race. Everyone had a good race. It's just it was just a lot of trains. But overall, I'm happy how it was.
All right. Well, congratulations on your victory. Championship hopes easily reignited. Outstanding drive today, Matrix. Now we want to go ahead and talk to our second place driver, Smoothie25. Smooth, go ahead, include your audio. Well, second place on the track for a championship contender normally would be a good day. The problem is the man ahead of you is the man you need to close on in the points the most. Walk us through your race from your perspective.
Yeah, I started off pretty good. The safety cars were kind of rough. Restarting, tires just wouldn't heat up. Then I had an accident with someone, and that was rough, so I had to make up from that. But on from there, I felt like I had good pace.
All right, well, you worked out a fantastic second place position. This track really seemed to suit the AlphaTauris. Although Edgar obviously wasn't able to finish the race, the AlphaTauris made more on-track overtakes today than any other car, simply because of the straight line speed. Do you think that you'll be able to continue utilizing that straight line speed advantage going forward this season to try and turn the championship fight back in your favor?
I hope so. We'll just take it race by race and go from there.
All right. Well, I do want to say it was an outstanding job. Kind of a shame you were the only AlphaTauri to bring home points today, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the word from second place Smoothie25. I also want to go ahead and talk with fifth place finisher, A. Waddington. Waddington, go ahead and include your audio. 2 weeks in a row that both Haas drivers finish in the points-paying positions. Not only do you finish in the points-paying positions, you come home with no time penalties as well. Outstanding drive today. What do you have to say about your race? Waddington, are you there?
Hello. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah. Make sure your audio included. What do you have to say about this event today?
I knew I'd be in trouble in qualifying because the car felt absolutely dreadful. And I had to get most of my moves done in the braking zones because the Haas straight line speed is just crap. And yeah, realistic cars at Abu Dhabi is not the way to go with a Haas. I got punted halfway through the race. I think I was sat in 4th position at the time. Dropped it back. I was fuming in party. I was tempted to rage quit in pits, I'm not going to lie. But I kept going. Something cars happened. And yeah, no penalties paid off.
Yeah, outstanding run, coming home 5th. With this, coupled with your performance here and the team's performance last week as well, in the Manufacturers Championship, you have gone from being last up to fighting for 8th, maybe even fighting for 7th. Do you think that the sun has finally shined positively on the team and you can start making good ground, at least in the manufacturer's hunt?
I hope so. I really hope so. I think it's strange because on track dependence, it's like at Australia, the Haas felt really good. But Abu Dhabi, long straights and fast corners, it's just not got the dynamics to deal with it.
Alright, well, I do want to say, I was impressed by your run. Same thing to your teammate, Ultimate, although I didn't invite him in. Ultimate recovering from a crash and qualifying to still come home 9th. Great job on both you for both bringing the material home and bringing home points for the team.
Thank you very much, Sensei.
Alright, want to talk to one more person, XRRL Flavor. Flavor, let's just say that race was very up and down. I honestly thought you weren't going to finish at some points, and you still come home 6th by racing. What do you have to say about your run today?
Determination is the key, I think. Now just keep going. Lots of incidents, I'm just going through them now. Can't find many that's my fault so far. So yeah, just keep going. Just get your head down. Yeah, just keep going, really hard work, concentration. Just keep going, and I've been racing really well today, especially tonight. So yeah, I think I deserved it. After everything I went through in the race, I think I definitely deserved it from a determination and a good pace as well, to be fair. So yeah, I don't know what you
Flavor,
thought, but yeah.
I mean, it looked like a relatively solid race from my perspective, but I will also admit I was focusing for a long part of the race near the front. I do have to ask, with the way the point standings are going, and with the way that a lot of drivers that we thought would be championship contenders are kind of imploding on themselves, do you think there's a chance that you can end this season top 10 in drivers' points, if not better?
Yeah, I saw you earlier when you put it in the chat. I sort of laughed to myself a bit, but yeah, I think so. I think there's no reason why not. If we just carry on and keep doing what I'm doing, I don't think there's any reason why not, to be honest. But yeah,
okay, one more.
I mean, it's not as easy as that, is it? Not as simple as that.
All right, then just one more question, kind of in the same ballpark. Obviously, you have yet to win a race in any of the main XRL divisions, Dev, X2, X3, or XRRL. You have scored a few seconds, and you're really good at making up time on the track by minimizing and avoiding time penalties, minimizing pit stops, and stuff like that. We're now finally starting to see it turn around where on track your pace is beginning to match those of others directly around you. Do you think a win is possible in one of the top 4 or 5 categories of XRL before the season is up?
That's a great question. Maybe not. If it does come, it'd be down to other things, I think. You know what I mean? Going really in my favour. But yes, maybe it's coming. I don't know. But I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully pick some podiums up. Be nice. And then if a win comes my way, I'll just appreciate it, I think. Because yeah, don't come easy. Definitely. Drivers in here.
Yeah, this is true, but you've made it work and you've stuck it out when a lot of other people have struggled in that same machine. Yeah. Good job on your run today.
Thank you very much, sir. Cheers. Great comms. Cheers, pal. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Good race.
That will pretty much wrap up our broadcast today. But before we go, I do want to go ahead and highlight some things regarding the Drivers' Championship fight. Obviously, Matrix and Smoothie will walk out here first and second in points. Lowe continues to have a solid rebound after losing lots of points earlier in the season, but considering that the guys ahead of him were 1 and 2 in the points, it's kind of negated it a bit. I think he's just barely holding on to the title fight by the skin of his teeth right now. Torpedo comes home 4th, which is a respectable run, but again, he's losing way too many positions to the guys ahead. But I think those 4 still have a good shot at fighting for the title. The ones who really struggled, Raptor, Ryan Hurricane, and Jabus John, those 3, I think without a doubt, they're probably out of the championship fight. Yes, Raptor and Ryan Hurricane both walk out of here with some points, but Ryan only left with 1 point. Raptor only leads with 2 points, while the guys up near the front are walking out of here with more than 15 points easily. I think unless something really catastrophic happens, like we see our top 2 drivers miss several races in a row, they're at a championship fight. I think the entire McLaren team, which had extremely high hopes going into the start of this season, and actually looked very strong early on, they've completely imploded. Monaco seems to have been the last good race for the McLaren drivers. After that, even when they do have good runs, it's always overshadowed by so many other issues. And it's not just in the Drivers' Championship, it's showing in the Constructors' Championship as well. And then at the same time, Ryan Hurricane, he's one of the hosts of the series. He's in Williams, which obviously is one of the slower cars here. But compared to the drivers in the Haas, although Ryan has been silent and a little bit more consistent at earning points, he's not been earning nearly as many points as consistently, and he's not putting in those massive, crazy drives that we're seeing from other drivers in worse cars. And I think that's all starting to add up. I do think that the McLaren drivers and Ryan Hurricane are en route to good driver championship finishes. Don't get me wrong, I still think they could probably both get, all of them could still get like top 6 in drivers championship standings, but it does not look like a championship fight is in contention for them. One other person I want to talk to, Jabus John. The world was basically in his hands today. He stepped into today's race, a 1-point lead, the first driver to be leading the points in a long time. He led the race for a period as well, but the moment he gave up track position, the moment he had to deal with aerodynamic wake, everything fell apart for him. He had 3 wins in a row earlier this season, which really catapulted him forward, but that seems to be the problem. He's really good when he's up in front. When he's up in front, there's almost no one who seems to be able to match him. But the moment he starts getting buried back in the middle of the field, everything starts falling apart for him. needs to start turning things around, Jay Buscan does. Otherwise, he's going to let this title slip from his grasp compared to the amazing consistency that we've been seeing out of Matrix for most of the season. But anyways, I've been Saintlander13. This has been your 11th race for XRRL. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. on the main channel, this channel, will be the X1 race here at Yas. On the alternate channel will be the X3 race. Then at 8 p.m. UK tomorrow, it will be the X2 race. In a week's time, at the same time, same channel, 8 p.m. UK time will be XRRL. I think we're going to China next week, not 100% sure. I'll check that later. But until then, I've been your host, saying farewell